Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for delays in getting with you, but welcome. We're saying farewell to the DW12, to the IO5 even here on the iRacing.com service. Yeah, we do apologise for being a little bit late getting to you. We had a couple of technical issues getting on, but you see right now the cars are working themselves through the corkscrew very quickly to run through your grid. There are your top 4 drivers as they're working themselves up the hill even towards the corkscrew. Then to run through the rest of your grid, you see Hua Pakalami in 5th, Lucas Deville, Gog Nujox, Christian Manson, and then there are your last 3 drivers that make up this 11 car field here today. So then, getting set to go racing here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. It's always been one of the favourites for drivers, and it will host the final of the races here today for the IR05. And the pace car making that journey down towards pit road. We're getting set to go racing here. Green flags in the air, and we are racing here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. So then, cars working themselves down to turn number 1 for the first time. And out front, it is Ricardo Chevron there leading the way in that green, red and white Team GT car as they're working themselves here on lap number 1. That is your race leader. Number 1 car leading out front in the early going. Dennis Garis right now is about 0.6 of a second further back as they work themselves down towards this tricky section of the racetrack for the first time. So then down into the corkscrew for the first time they come. Going to ride on board with Dennis Garis for the latter stages of this lap. This is very difficult, this corner, as you work yourself off camber down into the second to last corner. Garis having a good start to that race. He qualified second, is still running in that second position in that Vortex Sim Racing car as we are going to complete lap number 1 of 39 here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. So right now, it looks as though pretty much everyone is in the position that they started in, so no real issues so far. We've got 1 car who's a little bit off pace right now. That is William Olives, classified in the last place right now. Really struggling along there in that number 10 machine. Not quite sure. I don't think he's got much damage, but we'll keep an eye out on him over the course of this event. As you can see, not much damage. He's going to bring that car on pit road. No, he's going to do another lap, but just rather off pace right now. And that number 10 getting a little bit loose there out of the final corner. Let's check in then on Hua Pakalami, because he's kind of running in no man's land right now, but you can see the train of cars around him as they work themselves down into that corkscrew. Look at how far you drop, the number of stories you drop there. Then you work yourself down into that left-hand corner, and then he is going to work himself. You say he's running in the 5th position right now. He is about 0.6 of a second behind Michael De Jong, and then he's got a 1.2 second gap to the car behind him on the racetrack right now. So then, this guy is still your leader as he works himself down into the final corner once again to put 3 laps in the book here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. And he works himself even through turn number 2 right now. Then he'll come down to turn number 3. This is actually a really difficult part of the racetrack. You're going to ride on board of him right now. I will just show you just how tough this part of the racetrack can be. There's him running right now. You see the incline as you go up the hill. Then you've really got to be careful of that curb on the left-hand side of the racetrack. Be a little bit careful. Don't use that curb on the right-hand side too much. Working up the hill, use that curb to set yourself up for this run. And you can see right here, as we're going to look at our onboard, that is how much you drop there. And that is Ricardo Chevron in the number 1 position for the time being on the racetrack. So then, that is Chevron, and you say, there is Dennis Garis right there. 3rd place, Robert Grosser on the racetrack as we're looking high above now. And that is Robert Grosser right now on the racetrack, running himself in the 3rd place on the racetrack. having a good time himself right now, not only in the official series, but also in the ISOWC IndyCar series as well. But you can see he's coming under a little pressure right now from Mikel de Jong in that battle for the 3rd place on the racetrack. And that is the gap there on your screen, about 1 second right now. But over the course of this race, these drivers will see these gaps come down. Some of them extending a little bit as well. And you see that Grosser is about 2-3 tenths faster there in sector 1 as de Jong was just a little bit struggling through turn number 4 there, losing himself a couple of tenths to a second on the racetrack. So right now we've got a battle. Gog Nutrox, you see him coming up the hill there, just making a pass, we believe, there on Christian Manson. Let's see if we can get ourselves a replay of that, see if anything happened to him. So then we are looking at Gorg Nujox. He has been battling, you say. We'll have a look on board with him, see if there's anything we can pick up. And you see, it was very close at this stage of the racetrack. Coming through this corner, very wide there. And then you see him losing out that position on the racetrack. So Gorg Nujox now down into 7th place on the racetrack for the time being. Field is starting to eke out just a little bit to run through then your top 5 on the racetrack as it stands. It is Ricardo Chevron leading, then Dennis Grease in 2nd, Robert Grosser in 3rd, Mikel de Jong in 4th, Hugh Pakalami in the 5th spot. There are the rest of the top 10 up on your screen right now. And then to round out your top 10, it is Hugh Pakalami, Lucas Deville, Gorg Nujox, Christian Manson, and Dario Rikoff. They are your top 10 drivers right now on the racetrack. You can see the ticker there working itself atop of the screen. We're talking about Michael de Jong a little bit earlier on, having some difficulties in this race. Let's have a look on board. You can see he's actually got a little bit of a tweak to the front wing there as we're riding on board down into this first corner, turn number 1 on the racetrack. Now, he started this race in the 4th position, but that last lap actually was his fastest of the race so far, a 1 minute 12.249. Mikel de Jong right there, running that 4th position, but you'll be able to see it on your screen with a little bit of wing damage right now as he continues along on the racetrack. Don't forget, after we got this race, we then go to the oval to Twinrin Motegi for a little bit of oval action as we continue to say goodbye, farewell, adieu to the IL05 car here on iRacing. In Season 3, 2014, we will have the DW12 here on the iRacing service. For those of you who missed out on our coverage on PSR TV and iRacing Live of the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500, what a great race it was, as Tim Holgate won the Saturday edition, Jonathan Goke won the Friday night edition of that event, adding another 2 winners to the record books in the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500, the first official major event in that car, and which the car will be running in Season 3 of 2014. For more information, head over to iRacing.com for that one. You can also view the replay on iRacing Live by heading over to iRacing.com/live, as well as all the replays from the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series and also the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series powered by iRacing.com as well. So, things are starting to get settled out on the racetrack right now. So let's have a little bit of a look through the field. That guy right now is your race leader as we work ourselves on lap number 7, Ricardo Chevron, in that number 1 Team GT car. As he continues, the lead for him right now is about 6 seconds on the racetrack. So really eking out a huge advantage in the early going in that Team GT Castrol car as he's working himself there out of that final corner. I'd say the gap to him then is increased about 6 seconds, and it's growing every lap as well. That last time, Chevron did a 1 minute 10.639, just 3 tenths of a second off his fastest lap on the race. Then we have a look behind him, and Dennis Grease right now, he just set his fast lap of the race, a 1 minute 11.265, but you can see clearly being outmatched right now by Ricardo Chevron in that number 1 car. The number 2 car is still doing a sterling job, though, in that Vortex Sim Racing car. You see the Champ Car World Series logo on the back of him, as well as he's not been having a bad battle so far. He's been able to pull out a 4.5 second advantage over his teammate Robert Grosser for the time being, so he's going to be moderately happy with that one for the time being as he works himself up the hill. And Dennis Grease, of course, we said, doing a rather good job also in the ISOWC IndyCar Series. You've got the Racer Champions coming up for that one this Saturday. That will be live here on RaceSpot TV as well. Moving down into 3rd position, Robert Grosser right now. His last lap time was a 1 minute 12.109, just about a 1/10 of a second off his fastest lap, but you can see he's getting still a lot of drama behind him from Mikel de Jong in that Madcap Racing Team number 7 car. And you can see that gap really has come down over the last couple of laps. We ride for a moment on board with Robert Grosser in that Vortex Sim Racing Verizon car back down into corner number 1. So now we're working ourselves onto lap number 9 of 39 in this event. These guys have got to be careful a little bit with tyre wear, so we've got to pay attention to that one over the course of the event. Oh, you see a slow car there, and that almost got run over by Robert Grosser. We'll see if we can get ourselves a replay of that, because that was a mighty close there for Robert Grosser. And let's have a look, see what happened to him. And you see the slower car there. This is just coming out of corner number 3 on the racetrack. Very lucky running in the centre of the racetrack. And there is Robert Grosser able to get past him, thankfully, without any issues. But a pretty close call there for Grosser in that Vortex Sim Racing car. Also cost him a couple of 1/10 of a second on the racetrack. So behind Robert Grosser is Mikel de Jong. We've been talking about him as well, and just how much he's been able to pull out some time recently. Let's have a look on board of Mikel de Jong. Of course, he has still got that front wing damage that we talked about. He got that at the start of this event. Mikel de Jong in that Madcap Racing number 7 car. Thankfully, though, he's got himself a 5.8 second advantage over Lucas Laville in the number 5 Club France car. So he's still being able to pull out, which means that he's got the opportunity to really attack on Grosser over the course of this event. And for de Jong, his last lap, a 1 minute 12.119, just off the pace of his fastest of this race so far. But let's not forget that he is running in the dirty air, and that really does affect drivers on this racetrack. Let's go back to have a look at Lucas Laville, because you see he's got a bit of pressure right now from Hua Pakalami. And Laville, he started this race in the 6th position. He has been able to work up one place to get himself ahead of Hua Pakalami, and he's not doing a bad job at all right now. I'm going to ride on board with him for just one moment's time. You see there, Lucas Laville in that Club France car coming out of the final corner as he completes his 11th tour around this racetrack. That is Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Gap behind him, well, that is about 2 seconds on the racetrack. And there you can see, just out the rear, there's Hua Pakalami working himself through corner number 1 behind. And Lucas Laville right now is running himself in that 5th position on the racetrack. And then running in the 6th position, as we said, there is Hua Pakalami in that number 3 car. And a little bit of brake glow dust there coming out through as he cuts himself up the hill. The Infinity Esports car coming up the hill right now. We've been telling you about how he's had a bit of a difficult time, of course, running in the ISOWC IndyCar Series as well. Dab hand on the road courses. Struggling a little bit on the ovals right now as he kicks up a little bit of dust as he comes down into the corkscrew. And let's have a look to see what he's up to right now as we're going to ride on board with him. And he gets very loose off the exit of the corner there. Let's go see if we can get ourselves a replay of that to show you exactly what happened to him. But this is just as he comes down off the corkscrew, you'll notice he runs just a little bit wide right there. Catches the bump, gets himself a very big wiggle. Very lucky, actually, that he didn't get himself into the wall. It's a very dangerous place to lose that car. But let's have one more look from him. And this is him just working himself now on the exit of the corner. There he is, over that bump, getting a little bit of a wiggle. Hua Pakalami very lucky to get away with that one. So then, Lamy, as I say, he runs in the 6th position right now. However, running in the 7th spot, just behind him on the racetrack by 6 seconds, is Gorg Nujox in the 3rd Vortex Sim Racing car in the field here today. Now, to check in with Gorg Nujox, you see, his last lap was a 1 minute 12.564, so he's about 2 seconds off the pace right now, but almost the same speed as he set for his first lap of the race. So he's improving lap on lap as we work ourselves right now on lap number 13 of 39 here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Let's see if we can go on board of him, and we are going to go on board of him indeed there. The gap from him to Christian Manson behind him is 22 seconds on the racetrack to the 4th Vortex Sim Racing car in this field. But Nujox does look as though he's struggling, but at the same time able to pull away from Christian Manson right now as he works himself back down into corner number 1 on the racetrack. To have a look back then to Christian Manson, who runs in at that 8th spot on the racetrack right now. There you see him running very wide there as he comes down into the second to last corner, and he's going to come onto pit road. You see there's a little bit of damage there to his front wing as well. Very gingerly onto pit road. Pit road speed here, 35 miles an hour. It seems like an eternity driving down this pit road, but Christian Manson obviously thinking now's the right time to come onto pit road. We'll see whether he's had any other damage to his race car. Looks okay from this angle, but let's see what his pit stop's going to be. As he's now onto Jack, he's going to get himself 4 fresh tyres. He will top up with race fuel as well, and he'll be back out and away. Now this 9.3 second stop, so it does look as though he is doing a scheduled stop there as he comes back out onto the racetrack. Now you have got to be careful. Once you come back through this section, you cannot cut over the curb at all. He's being very ginger about it. Now he gets down the gas. You've got to brake then down into turn number 1 and run the inside line. Very slippery if you get 2 wheels there onto the dust. Now he can blend back in. I think what he actually did was just allow a couple of the leaders to go past him there, because you see he is now into traffic. Christian Manson has fallen down into 9th place on the racetrack, and what that has done is it's moved this guy up 1 place. Lusitz Kurek in the number 9 car, but you see he's got a bit of traffic behind him right now, and there is going to be Dennis Garis, and he is going to go past as they work themselves up the hill. Dennis Garis takes the inside line. That was an easy one for him as well. We'll get themselves a replay of that to show you how difficult it can actually be to make a pass through that section of the racetrack. So we're working then with Kurek, and there you see Garis just behind him. And now Garis is just going to put that car to the left-hand side. It's going to be on the outside into the first part of the corner, but then he'll get the apex into the actual corner itself. Nice clean pass, lap traffic doing its job here. So as far as Kurek goes, you see he's up 2 positions since the start of this race, but is running rather off the pace overall. He is about 4 to 5 seconds off the pace right now. His last lap, just a 1 minute 18.483, and he's got more lap traffic coming up behind him right now. You can see just in the distance in that shot there, he has got more lap traffic coming up behind him, so we have to be bearing that one in mind. Momentum is such an important thing at this racetrack as well. You have got to be careful because it is so narrow that if you put 2 foot off the racing surface, there's a good chance your race can be over. Run through the rest of your field, and you see that you've got, I believe that is one of the Vortex Sim Racing drivers there, just having to find a way. I believe that might have been Gorg Nujox. There it was. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one. So this is Gorg Nujox coming up behind some lapped traffic again. Oh, we looked the wrong way there. But there you see is the lap traffic he just went past. And Gorg Nujox is back out and away in this race. And then to finish off the field, we talked about him a little bit earlier on. William Olives there in the number 10 car. Got himself a little bit of front wing damage. You'll be able to see it there on your screen. He has been running rather off the pace. That last lap was a 1 minute 24.905. Actually, his fastest lap of the race Really struggling though here. I wonder if he got that damage in lap 1. Got some suspension damage as he's off the racetrack there. Hopefully there's not anyone behind him, because otherwise that can make things really difficult. You see, thankfully he's got a clear track around him right now, so not too much issue for him at all. He's comes back down to turn number 1, but really struggling running in that 11th position right now. And you see that front wing is causing him an absolute ton of damage as he's still circulating on the racetrack. Keep an update on him and see whether or not he comes onto pit road the next couple of laps, because he has got a car coming up behind him in a big hurry right now. And there we will see that lap traffic is going to go around the left hand side. In fact, that is actually your race leader, nicely passed there, William Olives, really struggling for grip in this race. And then the battle with Hugh Pakalami that we were talking about earlier on, and Lucas DeVille, that one's come back together, and that was a very, very close moment there with a little bit of the lap traffic. Let's see if we can get ourselves a replay of that one, because that did look mighty scary there. And I believe this is with Lucas DeVille. Let's have a look as they work themselves down into turn number 1. Let's see what happens here. He gets right up behind the lap traffic. And then, oh, we've done it the wrong way again. There we see it on the exit of the corner. Very lucky he was able to get through that one. But it did look as though that might have been a very close call there. Let's get ourselves another look of that. Yeah, there we are. I was able to get through that one eventually, but he had to work for it. But what we were saying is that Lucas DeVille right now, he does have a battle going on the racetrack if you stay on board of him for just 1 moment's time. In fact, no, I think he's actually just been passed there by Hugh Pakalami, so something's happened. When we're off screen, we'll see if we can get ourselves a replay of that, see what happened to him. And by that point, Hugh Pakalami was passed. So, this happened early on in the sector by the look of it. And let's see whether we can catch it. And now he got past it, I believe, in actually turn number 4 of this racetrack. So Hugh Pakalami able to finally make the pass on Lucas DeVille. And that all happened after that lap traffic was involved. And there we're seeing Hugh Pakalami right there, being able to close up behind him, get a very good run out of turn number 3 as they work themselves down into 4. Nice pass down to the inside, was able to make the move and get the job done over him. Good move there by Hugh Pakalami. We'll get one more look from it on board, as we're going to look on board with Hugh Pakalami coming down into the corner. And there you see, he's able to get the job done there. The Infinity Esports car getting one over the Vortex sim racing machine. Christian Manson looks as though he might be out of the race. I wonder if anything has happened to him. We'll get a look through our timing and scoring. We'll get back to you on that one. But Christian Manson does look as though he is going to be classified as out of the race. That brings us down to just 10 drivers in this field. It is, however, still Chevron leading this one, as we're now working ourselves on lap number 19 of 39. You see Chevron just working himself down in the second to last corner. Pit entry there on the left-hand side of your screen. Coming down into that final corner. Brake discs are glowing, and he is going to complete his 19th lap of the race. So it will be halfway of this event this time by. Gap right now, by the way, between Chevron and Dennis Caruso, well, that is up to 20 seconds on the racetrack. Chevron is really doing a sterling job in that number 1 Team GT car. And of course, many questions are going to be asked here between Season 2 and Season 3, whether or not the guys who have been strong historically in this series, people like Chevron this season, but also people like Nico Brandt, of course, historically one of the greatest people to ever step into this car on a road course, whether or not, you know, they're still going to be as strong in the DW12. Of course, Ricardo is the champion for Season 2 in that Team GT car. Going to work on board with him now. This is a difficult moment. You see, you have got to stay single file through the corkscrew, and that's going to cost him about a second, maybe a second and a half. And you see just how narrow this part of the racetrack is. He actually lost a little bit of time there in that dirty air. Oh, then the car around just gets loose there as they work themselves through that second to last corner. That was almost catastrophic there Poor Shivion, as they work themselves through that section of the racetrack. Close call there for him. Let's get ourselves another look of that. We'll see if we can get a good angle from here. You see, they're working themselves down here, and then all of a sudden, that lap car just going off the racetrack. That was the number 11 there of Dario, and he was running, say, in that 9th position on the racetrack. So, not having a good time with it at all. You see, he just cuts that inside curb, which then means that he runs a little bit wide on the exit of the corner. A bit like turn 10 at Philippine. You've got to be very careful through there, especially with the camber changes. Then he pulls that car completely off the racetrack, so he's having some big issues right now. Potentially just getting flustered with the leader being behind him. But not a good sequence of corners there for Rykov in this race. Desgary still runs himself in that 2nd position right now. And we're talking about the gap that Ricciardo had over Greece. Greece, of course, has got a 28.4 second advantage right now over Michael de Jong, who runs in that 3rd position. And, of course, there are some very good inter-team battles going on. And one of them that we have seen all season long is between Vortex Sim Racing and the Madcap Racing team. I want to clarify, it's an 8-second gap there on the racetrack right now between Dennis Greece and Michael de Jong. And these two teams have been having great battles all season long. Of course, you see here today, our Vortex Sim Racing team of Dennis Greece is getting the clear advantage over Michael de Jong, as they're going to put another lap in the books here. Working ourselves right now on lap number 22 of 39 here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And it does look as though we might have Rykov there onto pit road and also Leclerc. So let's see what the pit times are. An 8.3 second pit time there for Rykov. And correct, he's actually still circulating on the racetrack. So okay, it's William Olives actually who's on pit road, and his lap time's so long he's completely broken our timing screen. But there we are, Dario Rykov back out onto the racetrack, running himself in the 9th position so far, and he's going to take that very tight inside line, and he is going to be back out onto the racetrack. Things really have settled down right now. You said we talked about that battle earlier on between Hugh Pakalami and Lucas Seville. Now look at that. That gap's now all of a sudden up to 6.3 seconds on the racetrack. Now we did mention with Lucas Seville earlier that he did have some damage to the front wing of his car. We'll see if we can get you another angle of that. You see, there is Seville working himself up the track right now. And if we can just have a look here, we're not going to get the angle we want, but we'll have a look, see if we can get a good angle of this. And it is still there. On the left tip, on what that really does, it hurts the front end bites. It means that the car gets a lot of understeer, and you really not want to have to carry a damaged wing throughout the course of your run. Now expect him to really get a new one of them when he comes onto pit road, because it is costing him a lot of time right now. We've got more cars on pit road, and there is Dennis Garish just coming out of pit road. Pit time for him 7.3 seconds. So he is the first of the front runners really to blink from 2nd place on the racetrack. Dennis Garish is out of pit road with a 7.3 second lap time as he brings his car back out onto the racetrack. Cold tyre is going to be oh so difficult here. And you see Garish is struggling a little bit for grip as he works himself on these first couple of corners on fresh tyres here. That's dropped him down to 6th place for the time being, but he'll probably get most of that back once all those other drivers. You see the big wiggle for him there as he works himself down into turn 5. It is that moment there, those first couple of corners, that you have the least grip, and this is going to be very scary. You see he's going to be a lot more gingerly on the brakes here, getting a little bit loose, and now he'll work himself up the hill. Expect him to be really careful for the corkscrew this time by. Then he'll get tyre temperature in about this time the next lap or so. Then he'll be able to floor it once again. But again, you notice just being a little bit more careful than normal there as he works himself through the corkscrew and now into the 2nd to last corner. So we're keeping an eye out on pit road. It doesn't look as though anyone else has come onto pit road right now. Of course, we are keeping our eye out on this guy, your race leader, Ricardo Chevron, who is still leading. Get this, now a 32-second gap on the racetrack. Quite clear to us that he's staying out because he's just passed pit entry. But that gap is getting bigger and bigger every single lap. And he's just absolutely dominating this race. And he's showing, again, why he's a well-deserved winner of this season's championship. Winning his championship here in the iRacing official IndyCar Road Series, which, as we mentioned earlier, will be heading over to the DW12 for Season 3, 2014. Now, a couple of battles have gotten a little bit closer on the racetrack. Michael de Jong and Robert Grosser, for example. That one's come down to about 2.3 seconds on the racetrack. As we've got now Lucas DeVille on pit road. No, in fact, we've got Cursor back on pit road. So, is this another pit stop for him? 7.4 seconds, a longest stop for Kurek. 12-second pit stop there for him. So, he is back out and away onto the racetrack. Kurek there making a pit stop. And he will bring that car back out onto the racetrack. And this shows you just actually how tight turn number 1 is. Look at him going all the way down to about 50 miles an hour, really tiptoeing it through there. Gotta be careful you don't get yourself too wide there on the exit of the corner. But Kurek is now back out onto the racetrack. So then, biggest gainer in this race so far, well, that is going to be Michael de Jong, moving himself up into second position. Of course, so Dennis Garis has pitted, so that one will change, and de Jong will likely fall back down into third place once is all said and done in here. So we are keeping an eye out on pit road. We are getting closer and closer to that round of pit stops here. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget also, in about 25 minutes time, we're going to be bringing you some oval racing from Twin Ring Motegi here on RaceSpot TV, as we're having a look at that number 5 car of Gorg Nujox, looking to get himself around that lap car we were just having a look at there. Oh, big moment there for Gorg Nujox, and he was very lucky to avoid that one. Very, very close call for him there. Let's see if we can get ourselves a bit of a replay of that one, because that was a very close call there for Gorg Nujox. And it was, I think we just missed. No, it's actually as they come out of this corner here, you see that Gorg Nujox almost clipped into the rear of Kurek there. Very lucky not to have been a 2-car incident, which would put, of course, Nujox out of the race. He continues on around the racetrack. And we're getting word that Chevron is onto pit road, so he's making his one and only pit stop of the day. Let's have a look at his pit stop time, 7.7 seconds. Just going to get himself 4 fresh tyres, top himself up with race fuel, and he is back out onto the racetrack. So there we are. There's your race leader making a pit stop here. However, this brings Michael de Jong, you see, just working himself now out of turn number 1. He has closed down, but of course he's still going to make a pit stop in this event, as has Robert Grosser, who you can just see there in the backdrop, just behind him as well. And then Hugh Pakalami working himself right now in that 4th position on the racetrack as well. There are your top 4 drivers. That guy here, Dennis Garis, he's running in the 5th position, but he has pitted, as is your race leader. And it really shows the dominance of your race leader here. How he was able to get himself onto pit road, out of pit road, and still be completely ahead of all of the drivers around him. So we'll keep an eye out then to see whether de Jong will come onto pit road this time by. Also keep an eye out on Robert Grosser and Hugh Pakalami, of course. And if these guys as close as they are, and yes, you see that we are going to get pit stop action here. This is Michael de Jong coming down onto pit road. The question is, has he got anyone coming to pit road behind him? The answer is no. And you see just about there, there is one Hugh Pakalami coming past him. Michael de Jong going to make his journey onto pit road for his one and only stop. You see a little bit of front wing damage to him there as well. So he'll be looking to get that one ironed out. So let's see what his pit time is going to be. 9.3 seconds there for Michael de Jong, as he's going to bring his car back out onto the racetrack. Working themselves on that pit exit there and into that very tight turn 1 on the inside. And he will bring that car back out onto the racetrack. Robert Grosser, by the way, to show you how much he loses there, he is working himself up the hill right now towards the corkscrew. We do expect him to come onto pit road either this time or the next. As you see, just working himself through the end part of the corkscrew right now in that number 4 Vortex Sim Racing car. Currently classified in the 2nd position, but has not yet made a pit stop on this event, and he will stay out to do another lap. Pakalami will stay out to do another lap as well. So these guys, with 10 laps to go, you've got to ask the question, are they going to try and eke it out on fuel? We have seen a number of fuel mileage races here in the IndyCar iRacing Road Series, and that is one, of course, that really could shake things up in the dying moments of this race. Dennis Caruso, of course, still runs in the 4th position. There you see him bringing his car back onto pit road. We have still got that one car scored on pit road, which is William Olives. And we talked about how he's been struggling all race long. He's still classified on pit road. He has not gone anywhere for about 6 minutes or so now. So some substantial damage to his car that he is trying to fix. So after Gorg Newjock's made his pit stop, you see that he's not that far behind Michael De Jong on the racetrack. And let's see, there is Gorg Newjock's on the racetrack right now. And there is Michael De Jong, and the gap between those two drivers is about 2.7 seconds on the racetrack. In the Madcap Racing team of Michael De Jong and Gorg Newjock's in that Vortex Sim Racing car as they continue their battle on the racetrack. And you see now just 10 laps to go in this event. Getting word that here is Grosser and here is Pakalami as they both come onto pit road at the same time. There's about a 2.7 second advantage. They came onto pit road there for Robert Grosser. So he's going to get himself 4 fresh tyres top. I really see he overshoots there. That's going to cost him potentially dearly. That's going to be about 1 second of that. Pakalami might be a lot closer when they come out of pit road. And you see Pakalami is not far behind now at all. And it's about that much on the racetrack. Pakalami has now got a shot potentially to get himself up into P4 on the racetrack. And there you see, oh, Michael De Jong is there as well. It's going to be a great battle now for the last couple of laps of this race. There you see Grosser at the front of that. Then you see it is Michael De Jong. And then right at the rear of that 3-car train is going to be Pakalami. But these guys have all come together once again, setting ourselves up for a great last 10 laps in this event. The timing and scoring will update itself out the line, but you can see that is not a 25-second gap. That is about a 1 second gap, if anything, on the racetrack. And of course, Grosser's got to be careful. He is on cold tyres, so there is a chance that De Jong is going to get very close through this section of the racetrack. Look how close it is right now. Those 3 cars are separated by about 1.5 seconds on the racetrack as they work themselves down into that second to last corner once again. And great battle then going on between these 3 drivers here. We'll get confirmation of the gaps the next time they come past start finish line, but this time by 8 laps to go here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And now we can get confirmation of the time. It is literally, get this, just 7/10 of a second, but Pakalami is very close there as well. You see that gap is less than half a second on the racetrack. So 3 drivers separated by less than 1.5 seconds on the racetrack with 9 laps to go here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And this is what that Madcap Racing driver is going to have to deal with, because he has got himself 1 guy behind him, 1 guy in front. There is Robert Grosser in front of him. You have a look behind, and there's the other guy, Pakalami, who has dropped back a little bit in this lap. But he's in a very difficult situation now, Michael De Jong. Does he try and attack to try and get that position from Robert Grosser, who is right there as they come down into the corkscrew? Or does he try and defend, knowing the fact that Pakalami might be a little bit faster at this stage of the race? So now just 8 laps to go, and to give you confirmation of your top 10 as it stands right now, it is still Ricardo Chevron leading the way in that number 1 car for the time being. We're having a look at him right now as he's got a little bit of lap traffic actually going too wide ahead of him. I'm not sure whether they're actually battling for position or not, but there you see Chevron in that green car. Gonna have to get himself around the number 9 car there of Kurek, and the 2 make a little bit of contact there, pushing Chevron out wide. Oh, not a moment he would have wanted to have happen to him at all. And you see he's got a bit of damage to him as well. So let's have a look. You see the contact is going to happen here as they come down into the corner. Just bumping him off there on the racetrack. Contact between the number 9 car and the number 1 car. And almost a secondary issue. And to put salt in the wound, Chevron wasn't able to get past that 9 car because of it. So he's going to be really upset on the racetrack right now. We'll get ourselves one more look at that because that was catastrophic for him there. So here we are, down into the second to last corner. And this is the contact right there. There you see the 9 car turning into the 1 car as he had the corner. I'm not sure if the number 9 car realized just how fast he was going to come into there. But a scary moment there for your race leader, Ricardo Chevron, as we'll go back to having a look at this battle now for P3, 4, 5 on the racetrack, because it is still going for the time being. And you see that those 3 guys are still separated by about 1.5 seconds in total on the racetrack. There is Robert Grosser as they work themselves down towards the corkscrew once again. Then you see Mikel de Jong there, and then you'll see Hugh Pakalami at the back of your shot. And those 3 guys are still battling it out. What a great way to finish official series racing here in the IR05 car. And don't forget, next season we will be heading over to the nice shiny new Dallara DW12. It's already out if you want to purchase it on the iRacing.com service for just $11.95. But don't forget, we got ourselves a road version and the short speedway and the super speedway version out as well, in alongside the Indy configuration we already had, which of course was the 2014 iRacing.com Indianapolis 500. Just having a look, actually, Gordon Newdrox looks like he is very close right now. And there we see he is close to the rear of Lucas Laville, catching him. And last time by, it was very similar lap times between these two. So we've got a battle going on for 6th place on the racetrack. And Newdrox getting a little bit loose at the final corner. That is going to hurt him just a little bit. The German driver there in that Vortex Sim Racing number 5 car, as these guys are battling for P6 and 7 on the racetrack. And there, just ahead, you see, is Lucas Laville in that Club France car. The gap between these drivers right now, about 1.2 seconds on the racetrack. So with 5 laps to go, still plenty of time for Newdrox to potentially try and do something. De Jong's about as close as he's ever been. There you see him. As they continue their charge down into the final corner, they come once again, running on board with, and there you see potentially a pass for position. They're going to be side by side, but the issue is De Jong didn't quite get the job he needed. Will he try and go around the outside down into turn number 1? Oh, the inside is not quite close enough, you see. And the issue is he's got to be careful as well, because there is your Pakalami right behind him as well on the racetrack. So you make one little mistake and you could potentially lose 2 positions in this circumstance. Great racing though still going on between these battles. De Jong wasn't quite able to get the jump out that final corner with 5 laps left to go in this event. So they're working themselves back up in towards the corkscrew once again. And these guys have been pretty much nose to tail since they came out of pit road. And the Madcap Racing driver of De Jong just slotted in between that Vortex Sim Racing car of Robert Grosser and Hugh Pakalami in the Infinity Esports car. But again, Grosser's got to defend pretty heavily here as we're looking from the rear of him. Will Pakalami try it again the same way he did last time? By very close racing. But you see again, Grosser gets very good traction there out of the final corner, able to then give him the momentum he needs as they work themselves down into turn 1. I don't think, no, that Madcap Racing driver of Mikel de Jong is close enough, but they've really tightened up there through corner number 1. Four laps to go. 4 laps to go worth of road racing here in the IR05 car before we pretty much say adieu, au revoir, goodbye, gute Nacht to this machine. But it has produced a number of great races here on the iRacing.com service. And don't forget, as soon as we finish here, we'll be heading over as De Jong was trying to make the move there on the outside. Wasn't the scariest place, I think, in all of racing to try and make a pass. possibly alongside doing it down to the corkscrew. In fact, the corkscrew in so many ways is so much easier. These three drivers continue their tete-a-tete, though, in this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th positions on the racetrack. And we forget that the race leader, Cheviot, now has a 27-second advantage over Dennis Carisse, and that includes the fact that he had that moment when he was trying to get himself past the lapped car. This is where Grosser really loses out. You see, he's a little bit better onto the brakes, and then in the centre of the corner, that Madcap Racing driver gets very close. I think actually, we can just be a little bit later on the brakes, he might be able to get alongside through that second phase of the corner, because Michael Deschamps has been very good through that section of the racetrack. Now let's see what the view looks like from Pure Pacalami, because we must be having a great view of this right now. Deschamps tried, he wasn't quite close enough. And we see a car going off there. That was Grosser, that is Grosser. Grosser's going to lose those 2 positions. Oh no, just at the dying moment of this race. Not the moment that Robert Grosser wanted. He's been driving so well up until that point. And Robert Grosser, it just went wrong for him in the last moment. Let's see what happened to him then. We'll get ourselves a couple of replays of this. There you see, he just catches that curve on the inside, has to run over the exit, gets himself the slowdown penalty to boot. Robert Grosser, unlucky for him after what had been a great race up until that point. Unfortunately, we have just lost our video, ladies and gentlemen, so we do apologise. But Chevron is still leading the way here, and we have unfortunately lost our video, we think. So just bear with us at one moment. There we are. Apologies for that one, ladies and gentlemen. However, you see our race leader is continuing along. However, this is the last lap of this event, and Chevron has a great lead right now. Going to ride on board of him for a couple of corners. Working himself up the hill for the final climb, that #1 car. To give you confirmation about it, Robert Grosser has been able to get past Hugh Pacalami just outside of our screens. We apologize for missing that one. That happened just a couple of moments ago. But Cheviot working himself out of the corkscrew for the final time, demonstrating why he will retire the IR05 car on the roadside as a champion. Working himself down towards the final corner for the final time. And he will claim victory here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. And what a way to go out, the Team GT car storming to victory here. Dennis Carisse working himself now through the corkscrew for the final time, looking to claim 2nd place. He is about 29 seconds behind your overall winner. However, he's now working himself down into that final corner for the final time, and he will be able to get himself up 1 position, and he will be able to claim that 2nd spot overall in this event. So good job by him. Then we'll go back to conclude on this 3rd place battle. There you see Michael Deschamps in the Madcap Racing team, and there is Robert Grosser right behind him, trying to hound on in these last couple of corners. I don't think so. It is going to be enough for Pacalami in that 5th place either. But there is Deschamps. He's going to clearly get 3rd place in here. And then it's going to be Robert Grosser coming home in the 4th place. Hugh Pacalami having to settle for 5th place in that, but a valiant effort by him. And now Lucas Laville, you see, is scored 1 lap down. So he has already concluded this race. Just 5 cars finishing on the lead lap when all was said and done. Well, what a race we had then. Going for your final race results. So, farewell to the RL5 IndyCar. First of all, on the roadside, Ricardo Cheviot taking victory there by 29 seconds over Dennis Carisse. Michael Deschamps in 3rd place. Robert Grosser in 4th. Hugh Pacalami in 5th. Lucas Laville in 6th. Gorgon Ujox, Lukas Kurek, Dario Rikov, and William Olives round out your top 10. And we had one other guy, Christian Manson, there in 11th. He is classified as out of the race. What a great victory, though, for the guy bringing his car onto pit road. There's Dennis Grease bringing his car onto pit road. But what a great drive by that guy. Right there, your race winner, Ricardo Chevion, retiring this car in style by taking victory here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Great drive by him. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step aside for just one moment. In just a minute's time, as you see Robert Grosser bringing his car onto pit road for the final time in this race. It's going to be actually a little bit emotional for some of these guys as well. We'll see if we can get a shout to them if we work ourselves under caution at Motegi. But there you see Robert Grosser. He wants to savour this lap. And you'll notice that Hugh Pakalami is doing the same thing as well, as he works himself up into the corkscrew. Farewell from Robert Grosser. Hugh Pakalami bringing his car onto pit road as well. And then it's Dennis Grease. He's going to reverse it up the hill. He's going to reverse it down onto pit road. There's Dennis Grease. You see, he's just going to bring that car back into pit road the wrong way. Because he can. Oh, a little bit of a donut there for Dennis Grease. So he says farewell in the unique way. It's actually probably more of a cronut for Dennis Grease rather than just a pure donut. But there we are. We're going to step aside for just a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back after a couple of messages from our good friends, of course, over at iRacing. And we shall be back into Frastically.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 of Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch point in the turn. And now the 93-39, the 3 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. It's the race to the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kenny Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start-finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go.
Oh,
As you love it.
here we go.
You love it. The 1 gets around. The 5 gets around. Big choke for the first one.
So then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we've gone from the road course immediately to the oval as we say farewell to the IR05 IndyCar here on RaceSpot TV. Wilmington's been joined by Jake Cameron. We've also got a couple other people here as well. Lucas LaVille, Ryan Littermore, as we say farewell to the old IndyCar. Don't forget, of course, the new one is coming in Season 3. The DW12 makes its appearance on the iRacing service on both the oval and the road course as well. Let's have a look for your starting grid for this event, and it is going to be Brandon Trost kicking this race off on pit road. Sorry, on pole position even. Gorg Newjocks will start alongside him in row number 1. Jonathan Goke in row 2 on the inside, and Dennis Garise on the outside of row number 2. Heading into row number 3, you see Connor Cross, TM Halser in row 3, Robert Grosser, Ryan Littermore in row number 4. Then in row number 5, Niall McBride and Dario Rikoff, Matt Kingsbury and Christopher DeMerit in row number 6. And then row number 7 is Scott Smith and Stuart Pomfrey. That is your grid, Jake. We are saying goodbye the only way we know how, by doing a road race and then an oval race here. Because after all, IndyCar has always been about doing both of the disciplines.
Nothing better, Will, than to say goodbye with a nice double header. We got some of the brilliant road guys coming over to the oval. Dennis Garise coming on, Robert Grosser as well, all coming over to say bye-bye to the IR05. What a car it has been this season, and for the past God knows how many seasons.
So the clock has expired for qualifying. We're going to head ourselves now down to the racing grid here. And as far as this race goes, Twin Ring Motegi's always been one of the most difficult of the ovals, as well as the cars are about to line themselves up on the grid here at Twin Ring Motegi. And what that really does mean is that we're going to get ourselves potentially a very interesting race here today, Jake.
Yeah, it does. We could have something incredible here, especially for the last races. I know the SOFs at the weekend weren't highly contested, but was still some good racing, and it really shows some talent and skill going into turn number 3 and 4. Because if you're not holding that car right and you've not got the setup and the weight jacket to correct, you're going to drift up and you're going to hit that wall and take drivers with you. And that's not what they want to do in their last IR05 race.
Going to welcome in our in-race supporters for this race. We're going to start with the guy who won the Friday night edition of the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500, as well as coming second place in the Saturday edition. Jonathan Goke, I hope you're covered from all the milk you've had, but final race in the old car. It's been an emotional ride for us all.
It's going to be fun. I love me some Motegi. Just going to jump in here one last ride and see what we can do. Tricky pit road entrance. I think that's going to get some people today, so that'll be fun to watch up here in the booth.
And very quickly as well, we're also going to have a very quick chat with Ryan Littermore there in the number 11 car. Ryan, farewell to the old car in your Apex Racing UK machine.
Yeah, it's good to come in this one race. I'm not a particular fan of Motegi, but I saw its last race. Might as well get a good proper send-off before we go to the DW12.
Well, we'll talk to both of you over the course of this event. Very good luck to you. We've talked through your grid already, and it is going to be that guy, Brandon Trost, in the number 6 Team Velociraptor car, who will be starting this race from pole position, looking to bid farewell to the IR05 car in style. And this is that turn 3 we were talking about, and already Brandon Trost saving a little bit of fuel, Jake.
Already Trost saving fuel? Never. Did you know Trost is the guy to set the quickest lap around Auto Club in the IR05?
And there we are. It'll be something he'll take away from him, and starting on the outside of him on row number 1 is Gorg Newjocks. That is your front row of the grid. The pace car going to make that journey down onto pit road. And this race is now officially green for the final time here in the IR05 car. The car is all storming down into turn number 1 for the first time. And these guys are looking to just get themselves going here. But it's that guy out front, Brandon Trost, with the early advantage. Jonathan Goke looking to put the pressure on as they work themselves down into turn number 3 and 4 for the first time. That is the view from the rear of Brandon Trost as they work themselves through turn number 1. Jonathan Goke just a couple of car lengths behind him as they work themselves back down onto front straightaway. 90 laps are racing for, and there's the first one in the books, Jake.
First one in the books there in our unofficial championship winner, Connor Cross, already making some moves. He's already got past Dennis Garis, and he's hoping to make some more moves, but then he's TM Hauser, that is up the, is it TM Hauser? Maybe not. Up the inside though, he's going to lose out on that position into turn number 3.
Yeah, and you see 3 wide racing going on, and Ryan Littlemore all over the place, 2 wide, 2 deep right now in what is essentially a battle outside the top 10. Trouble there. That will be a caution. We've got 2 cars upside down. We'll get a confirmation, and one of them is TM Hauser there. So, yeah, that is going to be our first caution of the day. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one for you. And we'll start by having a look on board with TM Hauser. So this is him working himself down. You see he's got a car on his left-hand side coming down into the corner. He's got the number 4 car running on that outside line. And we believe the incident happens right about now. You see he makes contact. And apologies if anyone's a little bit epileptic there, because that was a bit of a scary one. And we'll get ourselves another replay or 2 of that one as well. Let's have a look, see what we can get from this one. So TM Hauser running on that outside line. He's got a couple of last lap motorsports drivers. He gets loose on the exit of the corner. Then he comes together with the number 5 machine of Christopher Demerit, who is going to be classified out of the race. And that is not the sort of thing he wants to have on his final showing there, Christopher Demerit. He's going to be really unhappy with that one.
Yeah, one of the guys that was chasing for the championship early season with Connor Cross and another couple of the guys. And it's not really the way he's want to go out. He's a very quick driver. He qualified 4th overall for the Indianapolis 500 just gone at this weekend. So not the way he's going to see this car out. And if that's the luck he's going to have in the new DW12, then I don't think he's going to look forward to the next season.
Don't forget as well, the DW12 is coming your way on the iRacing.com service, and that will be happening from Season 3, which is just a couple of mere weeks away. As you see the cars now just slowing down behind the iRacing.com first safety car, which is currently working itself down the back straight away. We're just going to take 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, for a quick break, and we will be right back with continuing coverage after these very short messages.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing.com, has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 of Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch point to the turn. And now the 93, 39, the 3 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. It's going to be the race for the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kenny Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go. As you love it,
here we go.
You love it. The 1 gets around, the 5 gets around. Big jump.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to continuing coverage here on RaceSpot TV. Just please bear with us for one moment. We've got a quick technical thing we need to get ourselves sorted out, and we'll be right back with coverage. We are currently working ourselves, however, under caution here at Twin Wing Motegi, so don't worry, you're not missing anything right now. But Jake, say this car is something that these people have kind of grown to love now, I have to say, over the last couple of years or so. It's had its ups, so it's had its downs. We do, however, finally have to say goodbye to it, and I'm a little bit teary-eyed in some ways about it, because it has been a car that people really has grown to enjoy.
I would say enjoy in the past couple of seasons, but I think this season it's sort of taken its downhill, and no one's really decided to run it due to the promises of we would have the DW12, but obviously it weren't there. So I think people were a little fed up and a little given up on the car and on the series, which is a bit unfortunate because with a good attendance and a good number of cars, the series always provides some action-packed racing. But yeah, I agree with you, it's provided some really good Indy 500s in the past couple of years as well.
And see, right now we do see the cars working themselves behind the iRacing.com first safety car. And of all the tracks, actually, Motegi's always been one of the most difficult tracks to deal with. but at the same time, it always seems to be the one that produces the most green flag racing. When I go back to the ISOWC IndyCar series last year, actually, you know, they ran there completely green. You see those lights are off on the pace car, so we're going to go back to green flag racing this time by. But generally, very green racing here that you see, Jake.
Yeah, it always is some very, very quality racing at Motegi, as you say, the ISOWC. Green flag the whole way around as the pace car now pulls off. Brandon Trost will lead the field. Green flag is out and we're around racing again.
Yeah, back to green flag racing. Big wiggle though from one of that Vortex Sim Racing drivers, and that was Dennis Garis, and he potentially can lose out quite a bit here. Let's have a look on board of him. Is he going to lose out because of that? But Dennis Garis hoping that he's trying to get himself up some positions, and there he is. He's got one of the last like motorsports drivers, the number 2 car there of Connor Cross, looking to his inside as they come down into 3 and 4. This track can get single groove at times, but you can almost run 4 wide through turn number 1. Then there's so many lines through turn number 3 and 4, but each of them are about as fast and slow as each other, Jake.
Yeah, each of them are as fast and slow as each other, and if you've got the balls, then you can hang it out on that top lane and you can still come out in front. It's incredible racing. We see Matt Kingsbury up the inside of George Newjocks into turn number 3. Will he be able to hold it on to the bottom, or will he drift up? He's drifting up. Managed to get it back down to the bottom though. Great driving there by Matt Kingsbury.
Yeah, and those two were main line astern. You saw that Newjocks was able to keep the position just for the time being. And as is the case at a lot of these short ovals, if you do not make it work, then actually you're going to go from attacking to all of a sudden defending on the racetrack, Jake. And it's something these drivers are going to have to bear in mind all race long.
Yeah, attacking Matt Kingsbury was just doing, but now he has to defend from Robert Grosser as we go back into turn number 3 again. It looks very popular, that turn number 3, to make it past today, Will. As you're saying, drivers, Niall McBride gets a real big wiggle there on the exit of turn number 4. That allows Ryan Littlemore, our in-race reporter, to go by.
And you see Niall McBride falling down into the 9th position on the racetrack as it stands right now. But 10 laps of this race is now in the books. These guys are going to slow down, but we did see out away from our screen that Jonathan Goke is now your race leader. Not quite sure when he got that one done, but Jonathan Goke is now classified as your race leader in this event.
Whether that was done into turn number 1, I think, when Trost had a little mistake into 1, I think, and he drifted high, and Goke was obviously in the run. He seems to have lost a lot of speed now. He seems to be falling back to Dennis Garis and Connor Cross. They're going to be soon all over the back of him as Connor's still hunting on the back of Dennis Garis for that podium position.
And there you see that battle for 3rd and 4th place on your racetrack. Dennis Garis is in the number 3 Vortex Sim Racing car. Connor Cross in the number 1 Vortex Sim Racing. Connor Cross in number 2 Last Laps Motorsports car. Gap between those guys very, very small right now on the racetrack. Going to have a look from the rear of Dennis Garis, and there you see just how close it is for the time being between these two drivers as they work themselves back down in towards 3 and 4 once again. And it seems to be that as it stands right now, no one's really being able to get that car to hit it down on the inside. However, if we give it about another 10 laps or so, that is when those guys who are having to push early might have their tyres go away from them, and that might make it a lot easier for them guys who have been preserving their tyres then get past in the later running of this stint.
Yeah, definitely. Just as we just had that caution, the tyres have been able to cool down a bit, so they're now getting back up to temperature, and they're going to really give the drivers the grip for the next 5 to 10 laps, as you say, Will. And then we'll see the tyres start to go off when we get to the pit stop stage around lap 35 to 40. Should be the pit window around here. Very tricky pit entry, as Jonathan Goke said, so we'll have to watch out for that one. But still all seems they're single file at the moment, but a really good battle going on for P10.
Yeah, we're going to turn our attention over to that P10 battle as it stands right now. You see it's about a 3-way battle as well. Scott Smith running in that number 12 car as it stands. You've got Dario Royev behind him. And then you've got Stuart Pomfrey running in that 12th position. He's going to have to go up high as he works himself out of corner number 4. Will Pomfrey be able to get that job done? The answer is going to be yes, but he's still going to have to be on the inside line into turn number 1 and 2. You see he lost out rather dramatically there, having to turn in so late into that turn number 1, Jake.
Yeah, he did lose out significantly, but great racing going on here as Dario Rikov loses out now to Scott Smith down the back straight away. Will he be able to hold it to the inside? Scott's giving him room. It's really great racing there from these guys, but Pomfrey's now coming back as well. He'll be in the draft of Smith as they come down, and he gets his nose chopped off there. Oh. Incredible blocking there from, that was Dario Rikov, I think, Will.
I think so, yeah, and we'll get ourselves a replay of that a little bit later on, but these three are very closely separated right now in this battle towards the rear of the field. A little bit further ahead of the pack right now. You have still got these battles going off, and you see, this is 4th place Connor Cross. Ahead of him, he's got Dennis Garise, that guy right there. And Garise has been able to pull out a bit of an advantage, but Connor Cross has really got Gorg Nudrox right behind him as it stands right now. And this is a battle for, let's say, 4th position on the racetrack, Jake, and it seems to be continuing to be intense.
Yeah, absolute intense battle here for that 4th position, but Connor Cross seems to be dropping off at Dennis Garise. He seems to have found a bit more pace and maybe a bit of draft from Brandon Trost as he closes that gap up only to 6/10 of a second now. So Connor's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back up to them podium positions, but George looking very strong in the starting stages of this one.
He is, and you see there is Nudrox behind him as well, running in that 5th position. Looking at ourselves right now on lap number 18 of 90 here on RaceSpot TV from Twin Ring Motegi with Vincent along with Jake Cameron. Very quickly, we're going to have a word with one of the guys out of the race very early on. TM Hauser, take us through what happened there.
Well, premature throttling, I think, yeah. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for Christopher. I ruined his race. And yeah, I actually was looking forward for this fun race to say goodbye, but it's already over.
So, I mean, you've had a number of memories in this car, some of them good, some of them bad. Which has been your favourite memory of this car?
Oh, tough question. I don't know. I remember that race. Actually, you broadcasted one of those fixed races out of the blue, and that was an awesome race for me. And it actually was here at Motegi, so I was hoping to repeat that one. So, yeah, but didn't happen today.
But at the same time, of course, we head over to new territory into the Dallara DW12, running, of course, on both the road and oval series, and also, of course, in things like the ISOWC over the next couple of months as well. What car track combination are you looking forward to most out of the DW12?
You mean like track and car, or?
Well, yeah, track, road course, ovals.
I look actually forward for both. I hope they get everything ready for the road course. I tried to prepare myself somehow. I'm not as good as my teammates, but I still drive for fun most of the time. Yeah.
TM Hauser there, unfortunately classified 14th in this race as we are having a look from the rear of Jonathan Goke. And there you see the gap, Jake. It's about 7/10 of a second on the racetrack. Now, if that grows by about another 3 or 4 tenths, then Brendan Trost will be out of the draft, which will mean that basically he'll get a bit of clean air. That will be one positive. And that's one of the things Motegi, sometimes being in clean air can be better than being in the draft on these longer runs, but at the same time means you won't be able to conserve any fuel on that car. And that's one of these things that's going to be different in the DW12 at the moment. Only way to save fuel is with your right foot, as just behind we see potentially Nudrox making a pass over Connor Cross. In the new car, you're going to have some fuel mixing settings to work with.
Yeah, definitely they're going to have to find the best setting for their driving style with the new DW12. This is what the current Dallara does not have. You have to, as you say, will sit in draft if you want to save fuel or use that right foot. And Brandon Trost losing that time a lot. Let's see when they come across the line. What will the difference be? 0.77 of a second. So Goke is pulling it out 1/10 of a second each lap, so he must be on some incredible setup because he is running extremely fast, just as we saw at the weekend in the Indy 500.
Gorg Nudrox, who we saw, he is down 3 positions from his starting spot, currently running in that 5th position as we ride on board with him down into corner number 3. Lap number 25 now of 90 here at Twin Ring Motegi. But Nudrox hasn't been able to get that job done over Connor Cross, but Cross at the same time hasn't yet been able to get that job done over Dennis Grease. And we see there is Connor Cross. Having a look on board with him, he just hasn't been able to yet get that job done over Grease. But again, we are getting to that stage that we are going to get those tyres starting to fall off from these cars, Jake.
Yeah, tyres are starting to get to that stage as we now work our way onto lap number 27 as Goat passes the finish line. But Connor's all over the back of Grease. He'll pop to the inside. Go back into line though, but I think Connor's playing a fuel-saving strategy right now, but just leaving Dennis out in front to run down in that clean air to then use up more fuel than what Connor will be doing and what Newjock. So it's a good strategy in some way, but also staying there when he knows he can win the race is also a big downfall for Connor.
So 27 laps of this race are scored complete. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step aside for just one moment and then we'll be back, and we won't go again to commercial until at least a caution after this very short message. You join us back here at Twin Motegi, and this happened just one moment ago. It was battle for position, and this was one lap ago with Connor Cross trying to make the move over Dennis Grease, and this is what happened. He tried to go down to that inside line. You see he was able to pull alongside, but then just wasn't able to complete the deal, getting himself a little bit loose on the exit of the corner, and what that meant was there you see he allowed Gork Newjocks to go past him as well. And this is what we were talking earlier on about. If you end up getting a little bit loose, trying a little bit too hard in turn number 3 and 4, actually what it does, it really compromises your ability then for the next lap or so as you have to go from attack to defense on the racetrack, Jake.
Yeah, it really does affect your race, and Connor Cross seems to be struggling now. He's right at the back there. He gets very loose on the exit too, has a little wiggle. That's going to lose him even more time, and he doesn't really want to get out that draft of Gorg Newjocks, because if he does, he's going to be left on his own, and he's not really got anyone within sight, because the closest guy is back is Matt Kingsbury, and he's 1.3 seconds back, so Kingsbury really seemed to struggle as well, running outside of the top 5. But looking up front again, Will, Brandon Trost seems to have closed that gap up again, just 0.6 of a second now to John Goak, so he's going to be hoping he can catch him before this first round of pit stops that should be coming in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, and there are your top 2 right now. Jonathan Goat leading out front as we ride on board with Brandon Trost in that number 6 Team Velociraptor car. Of course, as well, what we've got to say, as well as the DW12 making its official debut here on the iRacing.com service for Season 3, both on the road course and the ovals. We also get new tracks to play with on both the road courses and on the ovals, Jake. We get Donington Park on the roadside, and we also get ourselves the Rescan Phoenix on the oval side of things as well, and that is going to make for some absolutely insane racing.
Going to be epic. I can imagine the DW12 around Donington. That is going to be incredible. But Phoenix, well, I have heard, and it has been on Twitter earlier, Steve Myers has confirmed that the dog leg, you will be able to cut it for stock cars, but for the open wheel cars, you will not be able to cut it. So that will definitely add a bit of flavour into the racing.
Getting ourselves a replay, we saw this just on your screen one moment ago, battle between Dennis Grease and his own teammate. There you see the number 7 car of Gorg Newjocks going to the inside, making that one look easy there over Dennis Grease. And we were saying a little bit earlier on how Grease was using his tyres a little bit, losing a position there to his teammate as he's starting to fall back through the field. Now we've got to see, of course, whether Connor Cross is able to get that job done as well over Dennis Grease. He continues to run in that 5th position. We are, however, going to go through the field. We're going to start with your race leader, the number 3 car there of John Goak, international driver, however, proudly flying the flags there of the Auburn Tigers. will, of course, start their college football season after one of the most memorable they have had in their entire history. Who can forget the prayer at O'Hare and, of course, bomber kick, one of the possibly most famous plays in college football of the last 10 years. But Goke is leading, is falling back, however, and coming more and more into the clutches of that guy you see just in the background, Brandon Trost, right now.
Yeah, he is falling back into the clutches, but it seems to be evening out each lap. Trost will gain in a 2/10 one lap, and then Goke will pull it back out on the next lap, as it's now gone up to a 5/10 of a second gap on the racetrack. So it seems to be even peggins out the front, but looking down the field though, everyone seems to be spread out except from the guys in the top 5.
And we're just having a look there from the rear of Jonathan Goke, and to say the guy who is running in the second position is Brandon Trost. There you see it up on your screen. He did start this race in the race lead, but right now he is about 0.6 of a second back from your race leader, and there is the view. A little bit of lap traffic there in play as well. Now lap traffic can really hurt guys because of the fact that you get the aero push into corner number 3, and there you see Trost going down to the inside, making that pass there over the lap car look pretty easy as he continues in that battle for the race lead, Jake.
Yeah, Trost making it look very easy there as they just pass Stuart Pomfrey, and Niall McBride is the first of our pit stops. He is down onto pit road now. Not into his pit stop yet. It's a long pit road down here. These Motegi straights, real long, aren't they, Will?
They are. A lap 39 out of 90 scored complete, and here comes McBride onto his pit stop for fresh tyres. For him, he's going to top up with race fuel as well. Spent a pit stop around 9 to 11 seconds, depending on how much fuel he is going to take, and it is going to be a long stop actually from McBride, as he is still in his pit box. A very long stop there, and now McBride actually going to be classified as out of the race. That's going to be an interesting one. Let's see if we've got any damage on that one at all.
I couldn't say I saw him hit the wall or anything, so very interesting decision there from Niall McBride to retire the car. He did most of his pit stop and then just decided to exit out of the session. So very unfortunate there for Niall McBride, but I'm sure he'll bounce back in the DW12. Maybe he's just had enough of this car and can't be bothered anymore, Will.
Right, we've been having a look at this battle, of course, of P4, 5 and 6, but there is another battle there. You see it on your screen. Ryan Littlmore and Robert Grosser. Robert Grosser is trying to gain up to the rear of Ryan Littlmore as we work ourselves right now on lap number 41 in this event. Now, having a look actually at Robert Grosser, his last lap was 28.954. In fact, just and caution is out here, and that is Scott Smith. There you see, smoking on the racetrack. So our second caution of the day. Let's see what happened to him on the racetrack.
Very loose on the exit of turn number 4.
Yeah,
very loose.
There's Scott Smith there, just loose into the wall, inside wall, then the outside wall. Caution came out as a result of that. We'll get another look at that from the on-board shot of him as well. See exactly what happened to him. And there is Scott Smith as he was working himself down into turn number 4, just on the exit of the corner, being passed by a lap car. I think he just got on the gas a little bit too early, and that's one of those things here. You can take turn 3 and 4 in 3rd gear or 4th gear. However, depending on how you take it, it really can sometimes have some big implications on the way you're running. But we're going to get some pit stops happening right about one moment's time, Jake. Critical pit stops here for Jonathan Goke, because he's got to make sure he gets out in front of Trost to really keep his momentum in this race, getting closer and closer to halfway distance. Yeah,
very critical that they nail them pit stops. But going back to that incident in a minute, Will, though, it's very, very skillful driving by the top 5 there, all to avoid that down off turn 4, the high-speed area as well. They're just putting the throttle down where if they make that wrong twitch, they're going to spin out themselves. So very good wreck avoidance there by them guys in the top 5 as we now see drivers come off of turn number 4. They won't have to take the tricky pit lane under green flag conditions today, so it's going to be very interesting to see who will come off a pit lane first as they now make their way past the yellow line and past the cones.
Yeah, and here they are, all of the cars coming down on towards pit road then. Nicely onto pit road, don't see any issues so far, but there is your race leader, Jonathan Goke, Brandon Trost, just alongside him. And we will see just, they're about 3 wide actually coming onto pit road. This is going to be a very interesting pit stop. And you see, actually, Goke's going to make it difficult for Trost to get into his pit box. But here he is. Goke is down onto his pit box. It's going to be...
Nudrox hit the wall!
Yeah, Nudrox hits the wall coming onto pit road. We saw that there. We'll get ourselves a replay of that one in just 1 moment's time. Will Goke beat out Trost? Yes, he will. And he will clearly beat out Trost. Trost gets sideways coming out pit road as well. Did he make contact with Dennis Garis as he came out pit road? I don't think so, but it's mighty close there for Brandon Trost. A couple of things we're going to have to show you a replay of in just 1 moment's time. But it's Goke who leads out of pit road, and a bit of a crazy pit stop there. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one.
Very crazy there for George Nudrox. I think he's just locked the brakes up, Will, as he's just come down into the pits. When you want to slow down quickly, he's just locked the brakes up, and that's just sent him flying into the wall. It looks to me that he's got a bit of front wing damage, maybe a suspension damage, because if so, he's going to have to retire that car.
So this is first what we saw from Brandon Trost, and let's have a look behind him. You can see that they were running pretty much 2-3 wide behind him. We're going to go off of Trost. You see, it's very close actually as they came down into their pit boxes. But then, this is the thing we need to see. Dennis Garis, not Dennis Garis, even Gorg Nudrox hitting the wall there. And we are going to keep it back on Brandon Trost as he comes out of pit road. You'll see just how scary this situation is. And they're just almost hitting Dennis Garis came out of pit road, and that was all because of the fact that it was that very weird angle there. Let's actually get one more look. I want to see if we can get it from Gorg Nudrox's onboard. Exactly what happened to him, and by that point he was already into his pit box. We are going to rewind it just a little bit more to see exactly what happened to him. Going to be upsetting though for Gorg Nudrox. He had a difficult race at Laguna Seca, and this is exactly what we mean right here. Just have a look as he comes down into his pit box, making that left-hand turn, and I think he just completely misjudged it there. And for Gorg Nudrox, that potentially could be his race pretty much done.
I don't know, Will. I don't actually know what's going on. He's now going round. What's he doing? He's just overtaken the pace car, and he's now stopping at the start-finish line.
I think he was just trying to see what happened there, whether or not he was able to drive that car at speed. Now he's going to wait for the pace car. I think he was just trying to see whether or not it was okay for him to drive that car there. Not technically within the rules, but you can almost understand why he did that out of safety reasons.
I can understand his reasoning, but there's a few people probably not happy about that one, and probably moaning in their driver's chat, but they'll have to get on with it. Very sensible by him, though. I do agree with you, Will. Testing out, see if he's got any damage. And it looks by the looks of it, he's going to stay out on track and rejoin the field back in his 6th position behind Matt Kingsbury.
So then, whilst the cars are working themselves on their pace lap, let's see if we can get a word with one of our in-race supporters, Ryan Littermore. Ryan, been an interesting race. Dennis Garis comes back onto pit road, actually. This is going to be an interesting one we need to keep an eye out on. There you see Dennis Garis is back on pit road, but Ryan Littermore, very quickly, race has been an interesting one, bit difficult for you, almost got involved in a wreck in the early going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be clean and consistent. I've not really done any practice. I've only done about 5 laps and just got a setup from just using the fixed setup, so I've no idea how to set this car up completely, but it's been quite fun. I've had a good battle with Rob. He beat me out of the pits because I missed my pit box by a small margin, but oh well, I'll try and get back through the field and try and fight with Matt Kingsbury, because I was somewhat keeping up with him for some part of the race. So I think with the tyre wear degrading quite a bit, it'll be quite difficult to keep on to him, but I'll give it a shot.
And you talk about tyre wear being a big thing here. Very quickly before we go to green, if we stay green to the end, you think that's going to be a factor?
Most definitely, yeah.
Well, good luck there, Ryan Littermore, of course. One of our in-race supporters for today. And one of these things very quickly, as we have a look back to the front of our field, working themselves 2 wide, Jake, is these guys want to win this race, win the last official race in the old car.
Yeah, they do, and I think Connor Cross is the one that wants to win it most. He's currently in the championship. He's the unofficial championship winner. So I think there's no better way to go out than by winning the last race in the car as well, and then win the championship. So he's going to be the last ever guy to be able to do that, because no one can catch him now. Brandon Trost sits 2nd in the championship. He may even lose out to, I think it could be Matt Kingsbury in this, as we're about to go green flag racing again. Jonathan Goat drops the throttle there. Connor Cross gets loose, and there's a car getting very wiggly at the back.
Yeah, but they all get through. You see the cars come back down in towards turn number 1. Goat gives about 4 car length advantage right now as they work themselves down the back straight away once again. There's the gap. You see Jonathan Goat in back. Actually, Connor Cross is looking as though he's going to try and look down to the inside there of Brandon Trost in what is the battle for second position on the racetrack. Not quite going to happen. You see Trost taking a very defensive line there through turn number 3 and 4. That's going to make his exit speed a little bit less, and now you see the work themselves down towards turn number 1 and 2 once again, past the halfway distance of this event. Trost was lucky to get away with that one, but let's see whether Cross is going to get that momentum there as they work themselves down the back straight away once again. Not looking as though it's going to be the case this time by. In fact, Trost is looking down to the inside. Will he actually get that job done there over Jonathan Goat? The answer is going to be they're side-by-side racing. Goat has the outside line there coming out of turn number 4, but what this means is, look at this, Connor Cross is right there behind him as they work themselves back down in towards turn number 1, and that's that thing again we talk about, Jake. You cannot attack and then not get the repercussions, because here comes Cross down to the inside.
Cross to the inside, Goat to the inside now as well. Connor and Goat, both teammates, they're going to use each other. Connor's going to go pie. Matt Kingsbury's going to try out the inside of Trost. They touch. Trost is sideways. What a save by them. They came together in turn number 3.
And that is your battle now for the 3rd position on the racetrack. And there you see Matt Kingsbury on the left-hand side of your screen. He will actually get past. We're going to ourselves a replay of that in just one moment's time. There you see the cars behind as well. Brandon Trost might have a little bit of damage on the racetrack, but we'll get ourselves a replay of that one, because that's a very, very close call there, Jake.
Very close call as now Trost goes up the inside of Kingsbury. Newdrox looks to the inside as well. Kingsbury looks to the outside on the exit though. They're going to beat back into single file. Trost held his line in that though, it looks to me, Will, and it looks like Kingsbury's just drifted up.
Yeah, and here's that replay there. You see the contact there between Trost. Good save there by Trost and Kingsbury. Almost came together there out of corner number 4. That is one we were talking about. But they continue the very close racing out front here in the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th position on the racetrack. And then almost again, very close racing between Trost and Kingsbury. No love lost between these two drivers as Goat gets very sideways there off of corner number 4. And almost, I think Goat almost wrecked his car there.
Great hold there by Goat, and great awareness from Connor there as well to move to the high side straight away, and that's something you see from real talented drivers, saves like that. He's nearly all the side, he's nearly doing a 45-degree angle off that turn and managed to hold it. So great driving from him, whether he just had his weight jacker cranked to the wrong setting for the exit of that turn. He gets very loose again, nearly touches the wall there on the exit of 4. Goat's definitely got car troubles now, Will.
Yeah, and that's allowing Connor Cross to come up behind them. There you see the gap on your screen. It's down to about a car length or so on the racetrack as Connor Cross smells blood right now. And let's have a look with Connor Cross as they come down into corner number 3. Will he try and make the move this time by? He's not going to be quite close enough, but if Goat has another one of these moments, that really could set things up. As now you see Cross is going to get to the outside, inside even. Oh, no, Cross spins it around. Oh, no, caution is out, but I think Cross kept it out of the wall. He kept it out of the wall. And what a crazy replay. We'll get ourselves a replay of that, man. Our onboard camera was just going ballistic there. But here's a replay of that. Connor Cross looking down to the inside there on the exit of corner number 4. Gets onto the gas a little bit too early. There you see him spinning around that car, snap loose on him. He did keep it out of the wall very wide straight away here at Twin Ring Motegi. In fact, it is probably the 2nd widest after Pocono Raceway. We'll get ourselves one more replay of that. There is Connor Cross there. This is going to be our 3rd caution of the day. Connor Cross just losing it there. Car snapping on him as he tries to correct it, spinning it around. Didn't hit anyone, didn't hit anything. Might need some new boots in that car, however, Jake.
Yeah, he'll definitely need to come down pit road, take some new tyres after that spin, but great car control to keep it out of the wall, lock them brakes down and turned the opposite lock and done a couple of donuts, and as he now comes down pit road to take some new tyres. We'll definitely need them. Dennis Garice though, well, I think he made the right move to come down pit road again.
Yeah, and there are your top 5-6 drivers as we are looking high above here from Twin Ring Motegi under our 3rd caution of the day here. And to run through your top 10, by the way, it is Jonathan Goke right now leading the way, as we'll get our top gains and losses up here as well. He's up 2 positions. Brandon Trost second, down 1 spot. Matt Kingsbury up 8. Gorg Newjock's down 2. Ryan Littlemore up 3. Then it's Grosser, Garees, Cross, Pomfrey and Rikoff. They are your top 10, as we're looking high above from Twin Rin Motegi. And of course, you can see there the road course in the distance as well. Hosted the RaceSpot.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, and we'll see as we look further above. There's the road course, Jake. We had a very surreal race at Motegi. Jake Sturgis had a chance of winning, couldn't get the job done. Gregor Hutu made it 6 wins in a row in the RaceSpot.com World Championship Grand Prix Series.
Yeah, it was an incredible race on Saturday, and there was some bad luck again for Hugo Luis. We thought he was going to be able to make a better second half of the season, but obviously it weren't to be. He finished in the P6 position after taking a spin from his teammate as well halfway through the race, so very unfortunate for him. But as you say, Gregor Hutu still the man, shining out in front. He's got that championship nearly set in stone. I was talking to Hugo earlier, and he said to me that he's very disappointed with his season so far, and he says the only way he's going to win the championship is if Gregor's house gets hit by lightning.
Very quickly, we're going to have a chat with Lucas Laville. And Lucas, you ran in the road race a little bit earlier on here today at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Very close battling you had in the course of that race. How was the experience for you?
It was a really good race for me, and I ran a really close battle at the beginning with Wapakalame, and I got trapped in traffic and I spun before the corkscrew, so I got to pit and make a mistake at the entrance, then came back out just in front of George, and it was really close also at the end with George. So a really tense race for me, but really had a lot of fun with this car and with the ISO WC so far, so I'm really satisfied with my career so far and all the job you guys done so far.
And of course we head from the IR05 over to the DW12 for Season 3 on both the road course, the ovals, the ISO WC, you name it, it's going to be using it. What are you most looking forward to in Season 3 with the new car?
I'm really looking for the road course DW12, as I'm most of a road course guy. My favorite track so far is Road America, so I really hope it will be as fun as it is currently with the low downforce package.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us. We're going to have a look from the rear of your race leader, who is still Jonathan Goke. Now, on that restart, Goke, Jake, got very loose. Cold tyres means that these cars are more likely to get loose, and we talked Aaron Paul and I in the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500 about cars getting loose on starts and restarts. There are a couple of things you can do, things like drop gears, for example. However, these drivers traditionally at Motegi do get very loose in the starts and restarts, because you just need that oomph from that first gear coming down into turn number 1. Otherwise, you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, you definitely do. You can change the weight jacker as well, Will. That sometimes does help at some tracks, but as you say, it's a really squirmy track off the start at Motegi, and drivers really need to make the most of their start to get a good position and a good jump, really, because a start round here can mean anything. It can mean overtaking someone in turn number 3 to losing 6 positions in turn number 2. So it does mean a lot, but it's even harder with them worn tyres that have now cooled down as well, because they got worn rubber and they're colder. Unlike Connor Cross, who's now got a new fresh set of tyres which are cold, he's going to be very racy from the back.
Yeah, and in fact, new tyres could be a big advantage for him on this restart, especially if we get a quick caution. He could really be in the catbird seat and get a couple of places on each restart. He could be right at the front before we know it.
Yeah, he could be right at the front. He starts on the 4th row on the outside, so he sits in 8th currently, and Dennis Garees sits on the inside of him. So good decision, I think, from Dennis to actually come down pit road again and take another set of tyres and a bit of fuel. Maybe he couldn't have made it to the end. Maybe he didn't take enough fuel. Maybe that's why he had to come down. But drivers now work their way halfway through turn number 3 on the exit of turn number 4, ready for the green flag again, Will.
Yeah, and the pace car about to make that journey back down towards pit road. There you see your race leader, Jonathan Goke. There you see alongside him, Brandon Trost. Oh, trouble there. Matt Kingsbury almost makes contact with Brandon Trost on that restart. Those cold tyres I was talking about means that we're going to be 3 wide down into turn number 1. And Matt Kingsbury losing there 2 positions down into that first corner as Ryan Littlemore goes up a position. And then you also see Gorg Nudrox up a spot as well. And they're going to be 2 wide racing as they work themselves down the back straight away. And this is that battle we're looking at right now. And will Kingsbury take the inside? He will take the inside down into the corner. Looks as though that Kingsbury will just be able to get ahead of Nudrox though as they work themselves on the exit of the corner. But Nudrox from the outside line gets a much better run. And he's not quite going to be able to close off Kingsbury, however. This 2 wide racing that we love here at Motegi, all about momentum, and now Nudrox going to lose out. They're going to stay side by side as they work themselves down the back shoulder, with these 2 being side by side for about a lap or so. Now Nudrox pretty much able to get the run he needs in the exit of the corner, and he's going to be able to move himself back up in position there. Matt Kingsbury's going to have to stay in line, but what great racing between those 2 drivers. Vortex Sim Racing driver Gorg Nudrox, Matt Kingsbury in the last lap motorsports car. But that all started when Kingsbury spun those tyres and almost collected Brandon Trost down into turn number 1.
Yeah, great racing there from all the guys. Great avoidance not to wash up and take each other out, as we now see Nudrox move to the inside of Ryan Littlemore. He's not going to be able to make that work. Kingsbury will look to the inside though. He's got the run on the exit. He's going to tuck back in. While this has all been going on though, Will, up front, John Goke has been able to stretch a 1-second lead over Brandon Trost. So Goke really putting the laps in now. Ryan Littlemore still sits in 3rd position on that fixed setup. So a very good run from him so far. But George Nudrox, really good defending from Matt Kingsbury. He looks to the inside a little more again in 3. Oh. Littlemore gives him tiny room, nearly made contact. Littlemore goes really high, allows Kingsbury and Nudrox through. Dennis Gariz may be able to counter on this as well. They've really closed up on that field now. We've now got 3rd all the way back to 7th, Will, in 1 line.
Yeah, and we'll get ourselves a replay of that from Ryan Littlemore's perspective, because that was almost a catastrophe for him there. But very lucky to get through that one without any further incident. We're going to ride on board with Ryan Littlemore, and this is what we're looking for down into turn number 3. There you see the car coming down on his inside. And then for Littlemore, he just got freight train out in that outside line. You see Dennis Gariz was thinking about going to the high side as well. Wasn't going to get the job done at the end. Ryan Littlemore loses 2 places there in the space of 1 corner.
Yeah, he did lose two spots in 1 corner, and talking about losing spots, he could lose another one to the Vortex Racing. Oh, they nearly touch again! Dennis Gariz into turn number 3. Gonna lose out. Connor Cross may get through as well. Ryan Littlemore squeezing him down into turn number 3, leaving little to no room for drivers to come past. But great racing again, 2x2, all the way back through the pack. Robert Grosser still sits at the back though, Will.
Yeah, and there you see, still 2 wide racing. Connor Cross has not been able to get on the move. Now could be his opportunity, as Littlemore is really struggling in that 11 car. Here comes Cross, not going to be close enough. But great racing up and down the field. 64 laps out of 90, score complete here at Twin Ring Motegi. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, coming your way this Saturday here on RaceSpot TV, we bring you the RaceSpot TV IndyCar All-Star Invitational. Join drivers from the 16th Street Racing League, the ISOWC IndyCar Series, and also the iRacing Brazil IndyCar Series as well, for 2 races, 1 on the Indianapolis Road Course and 1 on the Indianapolis Oval. Both fixed setups, both in the Dallara DW12. That is this Saturday from 5 PM GMT here on RaceSpot TV. Battles continuing up and down the field. Brandon Trost to check in on him. He is falling down now to about 1.2 seconds from your race leader. There you see the gap on your screen. It's about 1 second as they exit corner number 3 and 4. That time, however, Trost did get a much better run out of turn 4 compared to Jonathan Goke.
Yeah, he got a lot better run. He brought that gap down by 1/10 of a second there, but Goke still got a second on Trost, so really starting to stretch that lead. And maybe it's just that overall pace and the tyres maybe helping out Goke at the moment. He's not worn him off as much as what Trost has, but Nudrox also catching in on Brandon Trost. He was 2 seconds back a minute ago, as we see Dennis Gariz look up the inside of Kingsbury in turn number 4. Kingsbury really close to the wall there. Nearly touches it, gets a big wiggle. Dennis Gariz up the inside into turn number 1 though. He's going to make that pass 2x2 into turn number 1. Matt Kingsbury's just going to yield there and allow Connor Cross, his teammate, to catch him up.
And there you see Dennis Garis was able to get that job done with Kingsbury. He does miss a shift, however. This could allow Kingsbury to come back down the inside. Not quite close enough there. Dennis Garis moving himself up into 4th position on the racetrack there. Great racing there by Dennis Garis in that Vortex Sim Racing #1 car. With now just going to be 21 laps to go the next time they come past this drive. We've still got a total of 8 cars scored on the lead lap. Ryan Littlemore has fallen to the rear of that pack, however. Those tyres are really hurting him in that fixed setup in the late going of this race. But the great battle we have right now is Connor Cross trying to make a move on Matt Kingsbury in the battle for the 6th position on the racetrack, Jake.
Yeah, teammates racing together. Kingsbury moves to the inside. Cross is going to look to the high side. Is he going to be able to make it work around the outside? Yes, he does. What a move. Connor Cross round the outside on the home straight into turn #1. Brilliant racing there from them teammates of the Last Lap Motorsports team. But while they're battling, they're allowing Dennis Garis to catch up with his teammate of Gord Newjocks, while Brandon Trost still dropping off the pace of John Goke.
Yeah, and there we see that was the move from Connor Cross there. This field is getting a little bit more spread out. 20 laps to go. Ryan Littlemore getting a little bit loose. You saw that at the top of your screen there, out of corner #4. But that is that continuing battle. Brandon Trost, and you see behind him as well. That's the thing that he's got to pay attention to. Gorgon Ujox is now catching up to the rear of Brandon Trost. There's the gap in your screen, about 4 tenths of a second. And then if you look behind, Gorgon Ujox has then got himself about a 1 second advantage over Dennis Garis. So Nujox now has got the opportunity in these last 20 laps to really attack over Brandon Trost, because he's got a good gap to that car behind him, who is his teammate, almost acting as a bit of a buffer there in that second Vortex Sim Racing car.
Yeah, Dennis Garis really holding off them Last Lap Motorsports guys, so Nordjox can attack onto the back of Brandon Trost. That gap's came down from about 6 tenths of a second, now down to just 3 tenths of a second on the racetrack, maybe even less. We'll see when they come across the start-finish line, but Trost really losing out to Goke out front, and he seems to be stretching that every single lap, and the gap's going higher and higher and higher each time. We'll just check in on the lap times now, and Goke's quickest lap time is 28.6, and he's just run a 28.7, whereas Trost, he's only running 28.8. So Trost really needs to pick up that pace, Will, if he wants to win this one.
Yeah, and that battle, that three-way battle still continues in the mid-pack now. Dennis Garis running in 4th, Connor Cross in 5th, Matt Kingsbury running in the 6th position right now. There they are on your screen. And Dennis Garis, though, in that #1 Vortex Sim Racing car, he had a good run earlier on in the event at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, looking to have a good race here as well. Riding on board with him right now as they work themselves down into turn #3 and 4. Once again, there you see the 2 cars behind him. And the gap on the racetrack, well, that's not much at all, about 2 tenths of a second to Connor Cross in that Last Lap Motorsports car. But these guys continue along on the racetrack. No real battles for positions, but we do know is that at this stage of a run, that generally you will see that tyre fall off with 15 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, as you say, just 15 laps to go, Will, as Newjox looks to the inside of Brandon Trost into turn #3. He's all over the gearbox now of Trost, of that Velociraptor car, and they'll come down the home straight now. Less than a tenth separating both of them drivers, and Newjox looks to the inside again. He's not going to be able to make it work into turn #1. He's given Trost a lot to think about now, and Trost seems to be really taking the effects. He's now 1.6 seconds behind our race leader of John Goke.
Yeah, working themselves down the back straight away once again. Will Newjox trying to look down the inside? No. But what he's doing is he's forcing Trost to run a defensive line. That will eat his tyres up a little bit more. Also potentially put a little bit of pressure on him as well. As you see there are your 2 battles. At the front of your screen, Trost and Newjox. Rear of your screen, that's a battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th positions on the racetrack. Both of these battles are still going on, and they are still going on hard on the racetrack. But Brandon Trost that last lap able to eke out about a car length and a half advantage over Gorg Newjox in that battle for the 2nd place on the racetrack. This guy, however, is loving it. Your race leader, Jonathan Goke, there he is. He's now got himself, get this, a 1.5 second gap over Brandon Trost as they work themselves back down into turn #1. Goke is loving the battles going on behind him right now.
Yeah, he showed some real pace in the weekend in the Indy 500s, first and second. If he'd have won that Indy race, Will, on Saturday, would he have been the first ever guy to win both of the Indy 500 splits?
He would have been the first driver to ever win 2 iRacing.com Indianapolis 500s. Justin Dallara, Tim Doll, Young O, Brody Kostecki, Dennis Reese, Jonathan Goke, and now, of course, Tim Holgate are drivers who have won the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500. No driver has ever done it twice. Jonathan Goke joined an elite club of Young O and Tim Doll to come first and second in an iRacing.com Indianapolis 500. Tim Doll actually has the best record in the winning 3 runs in a row, coming second, first, and second in 2010, 2011, and 2012. There's a bit of a wiggle there from Jonathan Goke. Out of corner number 4, and Connor Cross almost loses it again there. He does lose it again, and we'll get ourselves a replay of that, but that has dropped him well out of that battle for 3rd place on the racetrack. Very lucky there for Connor Cross.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Connor. That was just a bit of error, I think, or maybe too much throttle. Maybe he got a little pedal happy and installed the sim brick, because that's very unfortunate. A lot of cars do that there, but a driver of his caliber should not be spinning out there, especially with no one near him really to make contact with either. It was all natural.
He's making a pass though on Dennis Reese on that inside line. We saw that from him earlier. It seems to be that he probably shifted down into 3rd gear, getting himself too high on the revs coming out of the corner, but that really has cost him. And there you see it on your screen. He's now falling into the clutches of Robert Grosser, and that is where the battle that he was with earlier on is going on. He's got 10 laps to go. I don't think he's going to get the chance to do it. To let you know as well, Gorg Nudrox, he has fallen off now from the rear of Brandon Trost a little bit. There is Brandon Trost on the racetrack. We'll have a look from the rear of him, and there you see the gap to Gorg Nudrox. He's up to about 6 tenths of a second on the racetrack. That dirty air is really hurting some drivers in this event here today.
Yeah, I really think it has hurt Nudrox's tyres. I think he's now sort of dropped off due to that tyre wear. He was hoping Trost was going to have a lot more than what he would, but running in that dirty air does also cause your tyres to heat up a lot more, because they're running that hot air coming from the car in front of you. And maybe he's just lost a bit of more rubber than what Trost has, but he seems to be closing that gap again. Well, it's now down to about 7 car lengths on the racetrack from that 10 it was the previous lap. But Dennis Reese also pulling away from Matt Kingsbury, nearly 4 seconds on the 4 tenths of a second separating them guys now, and Connor Cross all the way back 2.5 seconds from Matt Kingsbury, our last guy in the top 5. Connor Cross gets loose again. He hits the inside. Whoa!
Oh.
Caution's out. This is gonna throw a big pipe into the works now, Will.
It is indeed. Let's get ourselves a replay of that then from Connor Cross. See what happened to him. And this is himself working through corner number 3 and 4 on the racetrack. Snap loose again. This time he does hit the inside retaining wall, and that is his race over. One more replay. This time I'm going to work it on board with Connor Cross to show you exactly what happened to him. This is down in turn number 3 and 4. You see that car. He'll try and turn it to the right. Then it snaps to the left. Slams it into the wall there. That is his race done. Not the way he wants to go out. Of course, being the series champion coming out of this event. Not the way he would want to say goodbye to this car. So, with 6 laps to go, we're going to have ourselves a shootout here at Twin Ring Motegi. Will anyone come onto pit road to get tyres? I think there might be 1 or 2 guys at the rear of the field potentially considering doing that one.
Going to be a 2-lap dash, Will, and I think Dennis Reese has opted to come down pit road. He looks like he's now making his way to the apron, so it could be a smart move. Kingsbury maybe following as well, but this is all going to be down to who can get that start, Will. Who can not spin the tyres up? If you can nail that start right now and get that boost into your momentum and just feel the track, you know, these drivers are going to really challenge Goke for the lead. So it's really shaped it up, but Goke's had a strong one out front on his own, so really he does deserve to win it.
Doesn't look like anyone's going to come down onto pit road. Yes, Dennis Reese. Is that Dennis Reese? No, that's one of the Kingsbury.
Matt Kingsbury and Ryan Littlemore.
Yeah, so there you see those 2 drivers coming down onto pit road. There is Matt Kingsbury from our aerial coverage here today on RaceSpot TV, which is brought to you by the ISOWC IndyCar Series. Don't forget, they'll be with you at Mid-Ohio in just a couple of weeks' time here on RaceSpot TV. But Matt Kingsbury into his pit box. It looks like it's going to be a short stop for him, just to get some fresh tyres. 7.8 seconds, and he is back out and away. And then we've got that guy as well, Ryan Littlemore. 7.4 second stop for him. These two looking to try and take advantage in the latter stages of this event by getting themselves a fresh set of boots, and they are back out onto the racetrack. It's going to be an interesting dash to the finish here for these drivers.
Very interesting, Will. They're only going to be sitting 6th and 7th. They're not going to lose any spots because Stuart Pomfrey being a lap down, he will get sent to the back of the field. That's a really good positioning for them. Matt Kingsbury row 3 outside and Ryan Littlemore will be row 4 inside. So if Littlemore can really get a good start, he can split everyone right down the middle and drive through everyone and leave him in his dust. But whether he'll be able to do that on the fixed setup with his acceleration, we'll have to find out. But I think the lights on the pace car will go out this time by, so we will have a 2-lap dash, Will.
Indeed so, and we're going to very quickly talk to one of our in-race reporters, Ryan Littlemore again. Ryan, it did seem as though you were getting yourself some very big tyre issues there that last time by, so was that the reason why you brought that car into pit road?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fine with Robert for position, and just thought I'd see if anyone reacts to pitting, and luckily Kingsbury was one of them, and I was going to pit anyway. I just wanted to see if anyone was, but it'll be interesting to see now how the new tyres, and I'm burning fuel as we speak because I've got quite a bit, so hopefully I can get past some of these guys who've stayed out, and hopefully have a good little 2-lap sprint here.
2-lap sprint for Ryan Littlemore at the rear of the field. One of the guys on the front of the field, he's led pretty much since the early going. That has been Jonathan Go. Can you see that you're burning a bit of fuel as well? How important will it be to have your car as light as possible in these last 2 laps, Coke, but also preserve the tyres as much as possible?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be too hard. Trost hasn't really shown that much speed, so I'll be able to stay out in front of him, hopefully pull away. It's unfortunate the caution came out definitely because it was my teammate involved, but we'll just go ahead and pull away these last 2 laps and get the last win for this IR05. Put it in the books.
There we are. There you see, looking high above from Twin Ring Motegi. We're going to step aside, get ourselves a quick commercial break in, then be back for the closing laps of this, the last of the over races in the IR05. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the next round of the RaceSpot.com World Championship Grand Prix Series stays in Japan as they head over to the Okayama International Circuit. That will be taking place Saturday, August 2nd, live here on RaceSpot TV and iRacing Live. Don't forget also, of course, we will have ourselves more action in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com as well. That will be taking place from the Brickyard in just a couple of days' time. July 29th on PSR TV and also, of course, on iRacing Live. Going to have ourselves a 2-lap shootout here at Twin Ring Motegi then. And Jake, could be easy, could be difficult, could be a wreck, could be green to the flag, could be anything.
It could be anything, Will, as you say, and it could have just been disaster there for our in-race reporter, Ryan Littlemore. He let go of his clutch and nearly took everyone out of the back. But here we go, Will, off the exit of turn number 4. The pace car is in. The field is now in Goke's control. Will he wait for that green flag? The field bunches up a lot, and he's away. Green flag racing.
Oh!
Everyone spins their tyres. Nearly a big run. Littlemore's in the fence.
So, will we stay green? Will we stay green is the issue. Littlemore, there you see, he's upside down. Ryan Littlemore, get ourselves a replay of that one in a couple of moments' time. But what a moment there for Ryan Littlemore. He is going to be classified as out of the race, but back to the race lead. It is Jonathan Goke as this time by. The white flag will be in hand. There will be one more lap to go of official racing and the IR05 here on the iRacing.com service. Here comes Goke down into turn number 1 for the final time. There you see the gap between him and Brandon Trost. Trost hasn't got any pressure from Newgox behind him. But then we got ourselves a good battle. Here comes Dennis Garice, actually. Garice is going to try and look down to the inside. Not quite going to be close enough. They work themselves through corner number 3 and 4 for the final time. Here comes Jonathan Goke out of corner number 4. He will take victory here at Twin Ring Motegi. Brandon Trost will come home in the 2nd position. There you see him. Gorg Newdrox in 3rd. Then it's going to be Dennis Garice in 4th. Matt Kingsbury rounds out your top 5. But that all went wrong from one of our in-race supporters, Ryan Littlemore. Ryan, didn't quite work out for you at the end.
No, it didn't. I thought I had a reasonable start, and then I just saw, I don't know who it was in front of me, just started to, he lost a bit of it as well, so I just thought check up it, and then went back on full front and just lost it, but oh well, it happens. Great crash though to end my IndyCar career in this car, so I'm happy with that.
Let's get ourselves a replay, and this is what was happening just behind the iRacing.com first safety car beforehand. So what we'll do is we'll bring that to you in just one moment's time. But in the meanwhile, what we'll do is we will show you your final race results here from Twin Ring Motegi, and it is Jonathan Goke who claims victory by 3/10 of a second over Brandon Trost in the Team Velociraptor car. So Last Lap Motorsports beating Team Velociraptor. Vortex Sim Racing scored Newdrox in 3rd, Dennis Garice in the 4th position, Matt Kingsbury in 5th, Robert Grosser in 6th, Stuart Pomfrey in 7th, Ryan Littlemore in 8th, Connor Cross in 9th, and then Dario Rikov round out your top 10. Rest of your finishers, Scott Smith, Noel McBride, Christopher DeMera, and T.M. Hauser. So that is how it finishes. What we're going to do is we're going to show you in just one moment's time, and you see these are the last couple of laps of the race. And what did we say, Jake? Those last couple of laps on very worn tyres, we're going to get some wheel spin. We got a lot of wheel spin.
A lot of wheel spin? Good God, we nearly had the whole field wreck each other. That was, I've never seen that. That was like synchronised wheel spins. But yeah, great thing to see, and great control by most of the drivers there, except from Ryan Littlemore, who wasn't able to hold it and took a nice roll over the inside wall, back over again, and land on his roof. So I'm sure he'll be happy to go out on that one. But cracking finish there, and congratulations to Goke, really well deserved, led from start to the finish.
And of course, Jonathan Goke started this race in the 2nd position, as you'll see from your on-screen graphic there. He started from 3rd position on the grid, up 2 positions. Best lap of the race is a 28.688. And he did a good job overall there in that Last Lap Motorsports car. And we're going to show you, as I say, a replay of these last couple of laps in just one moment's time. See, they're working themselves behind the iRacing.com first safety car right now, preparing themselves for that restart. And again, cold tyres always is an issue on this restart. And what we need to do is keep an eye out on how late the green flag came out for this restart, because that's one thing to pay attention to. Then what you need to do is have a look at the rear of the field as well. And there you see the cars getting ready for this restart. Look how late it was. There are all the cars going. There you'll see back at the screen Ryan Littlemore just slamming it into the inside retaining wall there as well. That is the one that we needed to keep an eye out on. Ryan Littlemore having a horrible way of ending his event. And we're going to get another look on board from Ryan Littlemore as well. And there we are, putting that power down, then just slamming it into the wall. Not the way he wanted his race to end, but that was it for Ryan Littlemore. That is definitely not what he wanted. But then, this is what is happening throughout the rest of that field. You saw Goke got himself a good restart there, getting himself about an 8-car length advantage. Dennis Garice did try making a move on his teammate Gorg Newdrox. At the same time, Matt Kingsbury was trying to make the move on him as well. But then when he came down into the final lap of the race, he's having a look on board with Matt Kingsbury. Not quite close enough to get that move done over Dennis Garice as they work themselves down into turn number 2 for the final time. Then as they came down into turn number 3 and 4, you could see that he tried, Dennis Cruz tried to make a move down to the inside, wasn't quite close enough to do so. Had to pay a little bit of attention to Matt Kingsbury right behind him. Wasn't going to happen for him, however. And of course, your race winner was the guy that you saw there at the front of the screen, Jonathan Goke, taking victory here today at Twin Ring Motegi. What we're going to do then is take a step away for just 1 moment's time, and then we will be right back.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing.com, has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 to Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch point in the turn. And now the 93-39, the 3 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. The race to the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kenny Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go.
Oh,
As you love it.
here we go.
You love it. The 1 gets around. The 5 gets around. Big choke.
So then, ladies and gentlemen, confirmation of your results. Jonathan Goke claiming victory over Brandon Trost. Gorgon Udrock 3rd. Dennis Grease in 4th. Matt Kingsbury 5th. Robert Grosser, Stuart Pomfrey, Ryan Littlemore, Connor Cross, and Dario Rickoff rounds out your top 10. I'm getting word from an encore right now in the Fix Series. I'll think about it. However, we are going to have a chat very briefly whilst I make my mind up with a couple of drivers. And we are going to start with, I don't know, whoever I feel like talking with. Brandon Trost came home in the 2nd position overall. So, Trost, take us through your race very quickly.
You know, I mean, I started on pole. I was running pretty fast, but Goke was faster. And then, you know, when I got to Goke the one time around lap 49, attempted to pass him. I mean, I had a shot at it, gave him too much room, and then his teammates started passing me, and the one gave me no room and hit me, so that basically, you know, hurt me there, and then I had to spend a couple laps to repair from that. I just never got back up there in time to race him.
Brandon Trost coming home in the 2nd position here today. Christopher Demerit had a difficult race out in the early going. Chris, we talked to you already. Not really the race you really wanted to hear in the IndyCar Open official series.
Not really, no, but nothing you could do. There was nothing wrong with TM. He just got loose off the corner and I was just there, unfortunately.
And we are getting word for an encore here in the fixed race. The fixed race starting in like 1 minute.
Right now.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, 5 minutes. You got the warm up now.
It was like 1 minute ago.
Yeah, well, none of us made it.
What we are going to do is we are going to step aside for just 1 more moment's time. We're going to get ourselves set up and we're going to do it all again. 1 more time. Say a proper farewell to the RL05. We're going to do that in just 1 moment's time. We'll step aside, bring you a couple of messages, and we'll be right back. As after all, we have got to get ourselves set up. So we shall be right back.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
So then, ladies and gentlemen, in the end, we have just one more race. And it is the iRacing.com IndyCar Open Fixed Series. That's what I was looking for, the Fixed Series, not the Open. Here from Twin Ring Motegi. Victor Del Porto starting this race on the inside of row number 1. Ben Ern will start alongside him in that front row. Andre Kossa, Zaku Troll in row number 2. Then Michael Schmotzler and Corey Connor in the 3rd row of the grid. Eric Gurek and Bruno De Fonte, they're in row number 4. Then Justin Duckworth, Leonardo Santos, Stuart Pomfrey, Richard Wells, Edward Wells even in row number 6. Rest of qualifying time is coming up on your screen momentarily. So then, Will Vincent still here with Jake Cameron. We've got a little bit of Ryan Littlemore. We've got a little bit of Brandon Trost here. Cars are lined up on the starting grid. Jake, we asked for an encore. We got an encore. 25 drivers, Twin Ring Motegi, 45 laps. Big Star Racing.
This is going to be brilliant. Everyone's on a fixed setup. No one has an advantage. No one has a disadvantage. This is going to be spicy. Some really good drivers in the field as well, Will. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Scott W. Smith, guy that just ran in the open race, crashed out early, but he's not being able to take his grid position, so unfortunate for him. But looking up the top, Michael Schmelzer up there, Zachary Trell as well. Them guys staying up late, especially Michael over in the Detached Club, so he's going to be up very late.
Yeah, we've got a number of onboards for you to look at for today. And we are actually going to start by having a look at that guy, Michael Schmotzer there, who is starting here today in the 5th position on the racetrack. And then who else we got on board with today? We've got one with the guy that we were just talking about, and that is Scott Smith. Of course, he's not taking the grid, so we haven't got our camera up for him just yet, but we have got one from this guy right here, Tony Van Wert, in the number 22 car. Finally, we've got ourselves an onboard from this guy right here, and that is going to be AJ Burton, driving for Club UK and I. You looking forward to this one, Ryan?
Gone. He left us, Will.
Oh, it's just you and me then. So, pace
that sounds
car
nice.
Working itself through corner number 3 and 4. Gonna get set to go racing one more time. Victor Del Porto bringing the field here to the green flag. Pace car is in. Green flag in the air here at Twin Ring Motegi, and what a start there by Victor Del Porto.
Yeah, really great start there from everyone. Stuart Pomfrey there, just cutting the nose of our onboard camera, AJ Burton, off. Very, very wiggly at the start there, Burton was, but no one actually wrecked out at the start. We've got a few late runners though, right at the back, JD Wallace, Jack Bogan, and Jackie Stovall right at the back, so they're not getting the quickest of start, shall we say, but everyone seems to be fine at the moment. I reckon this is going to be a caution fest though, Will, with some of the names I can see in this field.
So then working ourselves onto lap number 2 here at Motegi. Having a look from the rear of the team unbelievable car of Michael Schmorcher. You see he's got a car behind him, and he's got himself about a 4 car length gap, but he's already got a bit, you can see it there, of front wing damage. That's really going to hurt his entry down into turn number 3. You see running himself a little bit higher. Car behind isn't quite close enough to take advantage. However, that car, you've got to keep an eye out on Michael Schmolcher in that number 2 car, getting himself some damage here.
Oh,
in the
big crash, big crash on the exit of turn number 4. That will bring out our first caution of the race. That's Trent Lehman, and he collected back Rodrigo Zazara. We'll have to get a replay of that on your screens. Very big one there on the exit of turn number 4, Will.
Yeah, replay is indeed coming up on your screen. Let's see what happened here. Down at the rear of the field there, you see upside down and around. You'd not want to see that under any circumstances. We've got a Zara there in the number 13 car. We'll get ourselves another replay. We'll get this one on board for you. Those with an epileptic disability, please look away right about now, because this is a big crash there for that number 13 car, up and around, and he is out of the race. And now you see the other car involved. And the number 21 car got a little bit of a side impact at the very end there. So that is Jack Bogan, and you'll see just at the end of this one, the incident is happening right ahead of him here. Gets himself through it, then right at the last moment, you'll notice as he slows down, he can't see exactly what that car is in smoke there. You see the car's behind him. Bogan able to get through that one, just moderate damage. Front wing looks okay, but he had a very close call there, Jake.
Very, very close call. Great avoidance though as well. Just turned left right at the last minute. Surprised he managed to hold it though as well after that last minute of turn, because normally when you turn a car that sharp, well, the Dallara this sharp, then you know it's something that normally snaps out on you, and that's something drivers won't have as much in the DW12. Well, I've raced it a couple of times, and it doesn't snap as much as what this current Dallara does.
No, but of course, what we've got to pay attention to is we've got one car, just one car coming onto pit road. We're going to get confirmation of who that is, and we're getting word it is Adam Hawks there. As just we've got a second car coming to pit road, but there is one you see from our aerial coverage, the number 11 car of Hawks, just making himself a quick pit stop. We've also got Jackie Stovall making a pit stop as well. 9.5 seconds to Hawks, and there is Stovall there coming out of pit road as well. An 8.3 second stop for him. That's our aerial coverage here today, brought to you by iRaceForLife.org, official partner of the ISOWC IndyCar Series, and also of the 16th Street Racing League as well. Don't forget, by the way, we'll be announcing the 16th Street Racing League schedule for 2014-15 exclusively on the RaceSpot TV All-Star Invitation Race, where we get some of the best drivers from the ISOWC IndyCar Series, the 16th Street Racing League, and also the iRacing Brazil IndyCar Series. Of course, all of these series are brought to you on the RaceSpot TV family of networks. We chuck in some of the Indy 500 champions as well, seeing as we broadcast some of the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500 events, and we give you 2 great races, Jake, one on a road course, one on an ovals, to determine who is the All-Star champion.
Oh, what a race it's going to be, Will. I'm getting excited already, and we're still just a week away from it. I've been looking forward to it for a long time since you announced it, and it's going to be one of them races that no one's going to be able to call it in the new car, in the DW12. No one's going to have their setups ready yet. Well, for the roadside they won't, so it's going to be a lot of hard work this week for drivers and teams, tweaking them setups and getting them fine-tuned ready for that road race around Indianapolis infield course. But the oval, I think we're going to see some very dominant people there, like Goke, because I'm sure he's in it now, isn't he, Will, after winning Friday night's Indy 500?
He is indeed.
So he's going to show some good pace, and I think some of the 16th Street guys as well, they're really quick. So I'm excited for that as well in the announcement, because that series always brings out some good racing.
We're having a look through your top 5. It is Del Porto from Irwin, from Kotzer, from Troll. He's in 4th place. And then Corey Connor rounds out your top 5 here today. Getting set to go racing in just a couple of laps time here at Twin Ring Motegi. And we're talking about the caution, the first caution early involving 2 drivers. There is your race leader. We were just talking about him. But you see those lights are still on top of the iRacing.com first safety cars. We're going to get one more lap before we go back to green flag racing. Haven't really got a full heat cycle through these tyres yet, so no real issues there is going to be with that late stint snap looseness.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting towards the end of this one, Will, but also off the start as well. Drivers already had one start with their tyres, and we saw a couple of drivers get a little loose, but nothing major, as the lights on the pace car will go out this time by, and the drivers will start to file up, double file now as they come on the exit of turn number 4. But as you say, towards the end of the race, it's going to be very hard, especially with these tyres. Not a pit stop, remember. No pit stop will be required by drivers in this series, so it's all going to be to play for on the end of the laps when drivers save their tyres or don't save their tyres.
And one of the things we will talk about as well when we look forward to the DW12 is, let's not forget, we are going to get very different style of racing at the big super speedways compared to what we're used to. Places like Texas, for example, places like Kentucky. We normally see, Jake, that these cars, don't get much tyre wear. Anyone who's watched the race in the DW12 at Texas Motor Speedway, those tyres start fine. They drop off big time. By the end of it, that car's not getting tight. That car's getting wicked loose on you.
Yeah, you really have to change the weight jacker very significantly to actually be able to get the car to stay tight, because tracks like Pocono, you don't want it to be loose into turn number 1. You want it to still be tight, and drivers need to really adjust that weight jacker, as we saw the other week at ISOWC at the Pocono 500. So drivers were getting very loose in turn number 1. They had to make some last minute saves, and we saw a couple of good ones for them as drivers make their way into turn number 3 for the green flag.
So then, you see the ticker coming up along the top of your screen once we go back to green flag racing, but it is Victor Del Porto leading the way. Ben Irwin will line up for this restart in that purple car in the 2nd place. Then 3rd place, Andre Kotzer in that number 6 blue, black and white car. And then it is in 4th place for the restart, Zachary Troll. Here comes the pace car back down on towards pit road, and ladies and gentlemen, we're back to green flag racing. There's a big stack up towards the rear of the field. Green flag back in the air.
Really good there by drivers on the inside lane not to run into the back of each other. That was Hammy Van Wert, I think it was, that actually checked up at the last minute. Very good record avoidance from him, because that could have been a backpack of the field there, gone, Will, but very good by them drivers. Looking out front though, Victor Del Porto, really good start from him. Managing to pull the gap straight away, and we've got 2 wide racing there for 5th position.
Free wide racing as they work themselves down the front straight away once again. And we were looking there at Zachary Troll in the number 3 car. He was one of those drivers involved in that 3 wide situation, was able to get it going well on the outside line And now you'll see he's going to try and make the move as they come down. We're going to go on board on the number 6 car. He's going to be working on Zaku Chol. Will he try and go that inside line into turn number 3? No, he makes a little bit of contact, however. This is going to brush him up high. And you see there's a Team Unbelievable car, the number 2 car, potentially going to get the run out of 4. Not quite close enough, but very close moment there with Zaku Chol as they completed lap number 9 in this event. And now some 2-wide racing. Troll is hung out to dry in that outside line. There's the Team Unbelievable car. What are you trying to do to cut under? The answer is going to be no. But there you see the number 7 car. He is going to now try and have a look down the inside. That is Kenny Croder as they come down into turn number 3 and 4. There's the Unbelievable car. There is Zaku Troll there as well. Oh, Zaku Troll and the Unbelievable car into the wall. That's going to be a caution.
Wow, Zachary Troll there getting right into the back of that Team Unbelievable Michael Schmolzer. Very unfortunate for him there. He's dropped all the way back out the field. He's going to be out of this one. He took a heavy knock into the wall there, Will. Really great racing though there, but I said it was going to be a caution fest, Will. I called it before the start of this one. We're going to have a long night ahead of us, mate.
Second caution of the day, and it involves the number 2 Team Unbelievable car and the number 3 car of Zaku Troll. There you see it, down in turn number 3. Zaku Troll just rear-ending number 2, and the number 2 car there turned into the wall, and his day is going to be done. And that is Michael Schmolzer there. We're going to another replay up from his perspective, but that is not the way he would have wanted that one to have gone here today. And here we are, down into turn number 3 from our onboard camera. This is what happened. You see, 3-wide situation there, onto the gas, a little bit late was that number 2 car into the wall, and it was his day done. That number 2 Team Unbelievable car will be classified as out of the race, and that is not what he wanted to have happened to him.
No, definitely not, but I think it's very disrespectful of him, Will, not to lock his brakes down there. He just came straight down the racetrack instead of locking his brakes up. He could have took the rest of the field with him. Very silly by him. I know he's just been wrecked and everything, but you know, you got to lock them brakes down and save other drivers' race. So unfortunate for him. That's not the way he wanted to see his season out in the fixed series, but the racing incident, Zachary got it wrong and he admitted to that, so we'll go green flag racing again in another 3 laps.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, we're going to step aside for just one moment, and then we'll be back with continuing coverage here of the final fixed race of the 2013 14, 15, call it what you want, the IRL 05 car. That's what I meant. I've been doing 2 of these races. I'm a little bit tired now. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. So then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to continuing coverage here from Twin Ring Motegi here on RaceSpot TV. Will Vincent still along with Jake Cameron. Hoping to get Randy Krosner over here in just 1 moment's time as well to have a little bit of a chat with us. But looking high above from Twin Ring Motegi, getting set for the restart here in the final one of our fixed races. And there you see the field starting to line up now, 2 wide on the back straightaway. Don't forget, the next round of the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series coming your way on August 2nd. That will be from the Okayama International Circuit. We've also got ourselves more action in the NASCAR Peak Entry Series powered by iRacing.com. That will be on July 29th, and that will be at the historic Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 100 laps. That will be on PSR TV, MRN, the Motor Racing Network, and also on iRacing Live. And funny thing there, Jake, Ray Alfano after the Indy 500 says I need to go commentate one of those NASCAR series races. Not quite sure the people watching that will understand what I'm doing and who I am.
Well, maybe you could go over, Will. Maybe we could go over as a couple, you know. Maybe we could all go do it and they can do the Grand Prix Championship Series. Maybe we can do a switch for 1 week and see how it goes for each other. But no, it's a good thing. It'd be good to see you over there. It'd be good to see someone partner up with Tim Terry that's just as crazy as him.
And you see right now the lights are off on the pace car. Going to go back to green flag racing this time by. It is status quo up front. Victor Del Porto leads. Ben Edwin in second position. Ladies and gentlemen, the green flag is back in the air. 14 laps scored complete here at Twin Ring Motegi. Good start there. The car's coming down turn 1. A couple of people hanging back deliberately. But here is your battle out front. And you can see all these cars working themselves through. And there's a little bit of 2-wide racing going on, actually, as they come down into turn number 3 once again. That's a number 15 car getting very close there to the side of Zachary Troll as they work themselves out of corner number 4. Everyone through that difficult first lap once again, though, Jake.
Yeah, everyone managing to make it through there. Zachary Troll, though, nearly getting caught up again in another incident with our onboard camera of AJ Burton. So Zachary running right on the edge at the moment as we look through the field. Everyone seems to be singling out at the moment. No one's really trying to make a move at the early stages into this one. We're looking out front. Still, Victor Del Porto leads the race, and he's got a big gap at the moment. It was 0.6 of a second. A big wiggle there from Corey Connor on the exit of turn number 4. What a sight that is, though, Will, to see the IR05 looking from the back of his car. Lovely view. And
it's, of course, the final time we'll see this in official competition, as we have got a little bit of 2-wide racing developing on the racetrack. One of our onboard cameras here. We saw it on board just a moment ago, Gary, but the car behind just not quite able to get the job done. Here comes the 4 car, though, looking to get a little bit of better momentum out of the corner, and it looks like that Logitech car is going to potentially have the inside line down into turn number 1. Bit of a missed shift there by number 20 there of Eric Gurry. That's going to allow the 4 car easily to go past, and that will move Gurry down into the 5th position on the racetrack. Some great onboard shots we've had of this car over the years as well.
Yeah, some real great onboard shots, Will, but especially the new cameras, they nearly touched there. That's Eric Garrick and I think Ben Irwin there. Yes, it was into turn number 4. They nearly touch, and Garrick goes really high into turn number 3. All happening now, Will. Drivers popping out to the inside, popping to the top as well. We're 3 wide there into turn number 1. That's AJ Burton. Is it AJ Burton? No, it's not. It's Stuart Pomfrey that actually made it 3 wide there, down on the home straightaway. So they come out 2 wide from turn number 2. But as you were saying, though, there's some brilliant cameras, and we're seeing them cameras in action now on these cars, and especially the new one, Will, as well, where we've got we have contact there. Stuart Pomfrey up high into the wall. That'll bring out our 3rd caution of the day.
And that is Leonardo dos Santos. We saw that there on your screen. Let's get ourselves a replay of that. But it was Santos we did see it, and that was down in turn number 3 and 4. Let's get another look at it out of the car this time by, and of course that historic car, the Hernandez livery there, not working out for the number 25 car today. A little bit of contact, 14 car into the wall, 25 lives to fight another day. Our 3rd caution of the day here from Twin Ring Motegi. Let's go back live. So there's the car involved in that, Leonardo Santos. We're going to run through very quickly some of the guys who are classified as out of the race. We got Scott Smith, who didn't take the green flag here today. Edward Walsh, Trent Lehman, we're going to Zara, and Michael Schmoller, all classified as out of the race. And of course, we've got Stuart Pompey out of the race now as well. So, number of drivers are classified as out of the race, Jake. Still got ourselves a total, however, of 18 cars scored, 17 cars scored on the lead lap.
Yep, still 17 cars scored on the lead lap as Stuart Pomfrey, we now see him in pit road. He's not going to be able to get that car repaired. I think that's going to be another retirement from this race, Will. That's going to be our 7th retirement of this race. So nutrition really taking a big part into this race as we're only now 20 laps into the 45 lap feature final, I'll say, Will, because it's the final farewell.
It is actually the final farewell. However, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we've got plenty of IndyCar racing coming your way here on RaceSpot TV over the course of the coming weeks and months. And what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is start with the All-Star Race. This RaceSpot TV All-Star Race is coming your way this coming Saturday here, of course, on RaceSpot TV, bringing you some of the best drivers from the ISWC IndyCar Series, the 16th Street Racing League, and iRacing Brazil IndyCar Series. That'll be from 5 PM GMT this coming Saturday on RaceSpot TV. So then, Jake, halfway through this race, Victor Del Porto has led pretty much every single lap of this race so far. Doesn't look as though many people behind have got the opportunity to really close him up. And we have seen this before, that having home field advantage, having the front of the track there, really can make things work well for you. We're checking on the guy who's running in that second position right now, Corey Connor, who is up 4 positions since the drop of the green flag here today.
Yeah, really great front run from him, and we saw it earlier on in the open race that when John Goke was out front, no one could touch him, especially off the starts. He was brilliant starting, and, you know, he didn't spin the wheels at all, and, you know, you just get that second, maybe 0.8 of a second gap, and that's your rest of the race done for you. You're going to be out in front for the rest of the thing, especially when it's quite easy to defend around here as well. Just hold that bottom line if you can, and drivers will not be able to pass you unless they go to the high side, and not all the time it works, but some drivers have got the skill level to go round. And as you say, brilliant start by Corey Connor, making up them 4 places into P2 position. So whether he's got something to give Victor Del Porto is something we'll have to find out when the lights on the pace car go off next time by.
And that is your race leader, Victor Del Porto. He has led every single lap of this event so far in that static racing machine. Number 1 car, number 1 in iRating, number 1 on the grid, number 1 in laps led, and he has led as we are now at the halfway point of this event. Again, let's talk about things to look forward to in the DW12, because we've got road course racing, we've got oval racing, and there are mootings of there being potentially an iRacing IndyCar series. Tony Gardner, of course, president of iRacing.com, he mentioned that one a couple of weeks ago.
We can't get people's hopes up, Will. We know there's a lot of speculation going on. I don't see it happening for season 3.
If we're going to talk about speculations, well, we know it's the one like this coming 2015. If we're going to talk speculations, I'm starting the campaign, DW12, WCS car 2015. Join the movement, kids. Join the movement. Let's make it happen.
It will not happen. I was speaking to Martin Kroenke the other day, Will, and he said if the DW12 goes into the WCS and it has 2 oval races or more in it, he says a load of drivers will not run it. They don't want to run oval. They're purely set for the road. So how true that is, I don't know, but that's what Martin told me, and I think it's true to his word, because he doesn't like turning left, he says. He says it's kind of boring.
But let's not forget that there is mootings of a 3rd World Championship Series in 2015 involving GT cars. We'll talk about more about this another time, but you've got GT racing, you've got IndyCar racing, you've got NASCAR racing. Some of the best open wheel in the world, and some of the best GT racing in the world, some of the best NASCAR racing in the world. Guys, you know me from our racing. Let's make something happen. Even if we only turn left a couple of times a year, Let's make something happen. Let's get the D. And let's not forget, the IndyCar was the road WCS car back in 2010.
It was, yeah, but I'd say a good idea to be run it through the winter and have the top 20 from the Peak Antifreeze Series and then the top 20 from the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship Series and then put them into the IndyCar during the winter. Now, what a championship we'd have there.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. In the meanwhile, pace car about to make that journey down on towards pit road. There is your race leader, Vincent Del Porto. Green flag back in the air. What the jump he gets as the cars come down into turn number 1. Oh, three wide racing. Wow, look at this. Right now, as we're having a look from the rear, right in the middle of this action. But 4 wide racing down into turn 1. You can do it down into turn number 1. You can't do it down into turn number 3. However, these guys have got to get themselves sorted out.
2 wide, still 2 wide. Will he wash up? No, he's not. Actually, not too sure on who that is. I think that's John Aheggi. Real loose there from a couple of guys. 3 wide again down this home straight. Well, this is significantly epic racing, I must say, for the final fix race. And still 2 wide, 3 wide through turn number 1. They'll single back out into 2 wide again, though. This is 2 wide all the way from about 8th, all the way back to 12th position, Will.
And this is one of those drivers who talked about had a little bit of tweaking on his front wing. That is Eric Gurek. And he's not going to be able to make that pass happen on the inside line. But there you see a bit of a bottleneck down in turn number 3 and 4. Very close racing. And there you see, look how packed it is down the front straightaway. Great racing there down in your mid-pack right now. As we've got a little bit of 2 wide racing going on here. There you see Toby Van Wert. He's got a car on his outside. That's the number 11 car. Watch out, we've got a car on the wall behind. Caution is out. And that is, I believe, Corey Connor there is a driver involved in that number 16 car. Let's get the replay up on your screen.
Number 7 car, actually, Will, yeah. He was running P2.
Oh, and let's see what happened to him. This was down in turn 1. Did he get a little bit of help? Yes, he did get a little bit of help. He got turned around there. That is the guy who was running in the 2nd place on the racetrack. Let's get ourselves another replay of that and see what happened to him when he's looking from the rear of the car here. And there you see number 6 car on the outside down into turn number 1 they come. And what you'll see now is potentially a little bit of bumping here down into turn number 1. There's the bump. And there's our onboard camera going haywire again, but that Mid-South racing car is going to be classified as out of the race. One more replay coming up on your screen.
There's the bump and run.
Oh, as Paul Tracy was calling it all weekend, the chrome horn and the side horn.
And what a race we did have Sunday. What a races we had at Sunday.
Not just
2
one
wet
race,
races.
2 races.
Well, 1 wet race, shall we say, but incredible racing.
So, under caution, once again, here at Twin Ring Motor. To go back to what we were saying, by the way, when we see that car crab walking itself back towards pit road, he clearly isn't going to come back out racing here today. 27 laps out of 45 scored complete. And that was the guy who was running P2 at one point. Corey Connor for Mid-South, Club Mid-South, not having a good day here today. And it looks like he's going to bring that car down onto pit road, and that will be him retired, classified as out of the race. I really don't think he's going to be able to get his car repaired under any circumstances here today. We're going to get confirmation, and I believe that is him out of the race indeed. Let's go back to what we were saying just a moment ago. 3 potential World Championship Series. Of course, they have mooted that GT Series before. That would give you a pure road series. The NASCAR Series is a pure oval series, yes, with a couple of road course tracks trucked in. An IndyCar Series would actually make that perfect balance in the middle. Yes, you're going to have to do a lot of work to actually, you know, reconfigure 3 World Championship Series, but you're going to have a GT Series based on endurance racing, 100% road racing. You're going to have the NASCAR Series primarily oval, something in the middle. And let's not forget, a lot of the WCS drivers driven that Williams FW31 for, what, 4 seasons now. Gregor Hutu's won 3 out of those 4 championships. I would say let's give Gregor Hutu another challenge, but people forget, of course, in 2010 when they ran the IndyCar, Gregor Hutu won 15 out of 16 races.
Yeah, he did dominate that IndyCar season that year, but it's all going to be down to what the drivers in the Pro Series at the moment want, Will. I think it's going to be down to that. It's not going to be down to what the public want or what iRacing want, but it's going to be down to what them pro drivers want, and if they don't want it, you know, it's not going to bring in that publicity, is it? It's not going to bring in the viewers for them, and it's not going to bring in all that important money is what they want. So I think it's going to be down to them pro drivers, and if they say no, I don't think we're going to get it.
Jay Plays, by the way, he says on our YouTube feed, he's going to join the movement and how to spread the word in his streams. RPG, X-Cartman, yes, yes, and more yes. We've got a couple of people joining the movement in the early going. 29 laps scored complete here at Twin Ring Motegi. Going to go back to Green Flag Racing. We believe we're about 14 laps to go here. By the way, if you don't know what we're talking about the DW12, if you've been living under a cave, in this episode for just one moment, and show you what is happening with the DW12 movement. We'll be right back. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what is coming our way in Season 3. The epic, amazing Dallara DW12 making its official appearance into full season racing here on the iRacing.com service. And if you haven't got the car already, what's wrong with you? You can buy it now, and from tomorrow it will have itself a number of new configurations to run on super speedways, Indianapolis style speedways, short tracks and road courses as well. Driving at Donington, that comes out tomorrow, and of course try it out at the new Phoenix as well. Join the movement, let's get it happening. DW12 for WCS car. Right now we are about to complete our latest caution of the day here at Twin Ring Motegi, looking high above as that pace car is about to make that journey back down on towards pit road. 15 laps of this race to go, and here comes that pace car back down on towards pit road, and here we go back to Green Flag Racing here at Twin Ring Motegi. Good clean start, not much too wide racing this time, but we've got a car very slow on the apron. I don't think that's going to be an issue for any of these drivers. A little bit of too wide racing down in the middle of the pack, however, as we're having a look at one of those drivers right now. Oh, and there we are.
That was Eric Gahiki, I think, and AJ Burton there. Again, them drivers having a really good race out there, Will. Turn 3 and 4, they've been switching positions all the time by, but looking further down through the field as well. Justin Duckworth trying to get that move done on John Reaney. He's not been able to do that though down on the exit of turn number 4 on the home straight, so he's going to look again on the exit of turn number 2. He's got the draft down the back straight, but John Reaney's looking to the inside of the guy in front of him, and that's Leonardo Santos. And we got a caution, another big one into turn number 4.
And we're just having a look.
That's AJ Burton are on board again. He's come together with, I think it's Eric. Yeah, it is. It's Eric Gahiki. Them two come together, having a really good race. And unfortunate there. Very unfortunate. Burton has just ran into the back of him. He's not judged when Gahiki's going to brake and just ran over him. Very unfortunate there, Will.
And we're getting a replay up of that up on your screen. And this is what we are looking at right now. Down into turn number 3 and 4. There you see it. It was all the way down into turn number 3. And you're right, just didn't see the car there at all. And Bit of a strange one, because normally you don't come in at that much of a head of steam at all. Let's have another look. Down into turn number 3 and 4. Bam! Both those cars up into the wall, and there we are. Game over.
Unfortunate, Will, they're running very well. They're running in the top 10 as well. So that's going to be our 4th caution of the day. This is going to be a caution fest, as I said, and we've not even got that far through the race, shall we say. We're on lap 33 and not many green flag laps so far.
Nope. And what we're going to do is, yes, you're going to be bored of it. It's not my fault. These guys are running under caution. We're going to step aside for a moment and we'll be right back after these short messages.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 to Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch point in the turn. And now the 93-39, the 3 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. It's the race for the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kimmy Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go. As you love it, here we go. You love it. The 1 gets around, the 5 gets around. Big choke.
Ten laps left to go in Fixed Series competition. There is your race leader. It is Victor Del Porto, who has led every single lap of this event in that rather entertaining looking Pegasus Games car, Jake.
Yeah, very interesting looking car. Not normally seen a car of that colour, but looking very nice out on the track, and what a ride he's had so far. Led every lap so far. Start to where we are now under our 4th caution. Can he go for the last 10 laps? We'll have to find out as they come to the green in a minute.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the next round of the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series here on RaceSpot TV and iRacing Live will take place on the Okayama International Circuit on Saturday, 2nd of August 2014. The next round of the NASCAR Peak Grand Prix Series powered by iRacing.com will take place on the Brickyard Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that will be on July 29th on PSR TV, MRN, the Motor Racing Network, and also on iRacing Live as well. Getting set for a restart here at Twin Ring Motegi. Your top 5 right now is Victor Del Porto, Andre Cozza, Ben Irwin, Zachary Troll, and Ronald Verge. Pace car going to make that journey back down on towards pit road. Here we go. Back to green flag racing here at Motegi with 9 laps to go. There you see Zachary Troll moving himself up into 2nd position. Good restart from him as they will storm down into turn 1. A little bit of 2-wide racing once again.
Really great racing there, Will, all throughout the field. Liano Santos losing out there early from the start to John Rainey there, having a battle before that 4th caution of the day as Rainey looks up to the inside of Hawks. He's not going to be able to make that done. He nearly runs over the back. He has to check up though. Santos checks up as well. He runs wide on the exit of turn number 4. That checked the lineup, so they're all now in position, ready to make a move into turn number 1. Nothing's going to happen though. Seems to be that they're happy to sit in line at the moment, Will, and wait for the last 5 laps.
Yeah, everyone trying to get themselves a little bit of green flag running. Of course, tyre wear won't be as much of an issue as we potentially said at the start of this event, but your race leader is still that guy right there, Victor Del Porto, with 7 laps to go this time by. However, Zachary Troll is starting to put the pressure on him. That last time by, when I actually have a look at the numbers, pretty much identical lap times between P1 and P2.
Yeah, pretty much identical lap times, but one thing we don't want to happen, Will, now is another caution. We don't want our last ever IRO5 race to finish under caution now, do we? So let's hope these drivers use their heads as we see now Adam Hawkins move up the inside there to regain his position on John Rainey, and Justin Duckworth trying to make it 3 wide. He goes to the top, he cuts down to the bottom, they're 3 wide, they make contact on the exit of turn number 4. Still 3 wide now as they come down that home straight. Not going to make contact again. That's very close racing there in that mid-pack, Will.
Yeah, and you see there they are still running very close together on the racetrack. There you see the number 25 car who was running right side by side, really getting held up there on that run down into turn number 3 and 4, so he's not going to get the job done. But with a couple of laps to go, let's go back on board because here we are, more side-by-side racing, and here comes Justin Duckworth on the inside of the number 5 car. He is going to get that job this time pretty much done complete. But will we get the crossover? Yes, we are. Thank God we got a 360 cam here, Jake, because that was a perfect crossover.
That's a brilliant crossover. He's going to have to hold it, though, into turn number 3, or will Justin Duckworth on the outside be able to get the run on the exit? Looks like he's going to give that position up, but he can't hold off too much, because if not, Leandro Santos is going to want to come by as John Rainey gets very loose on the exit of turn 4. That's going to give Duckworth another chance up the inside into turn number 1. He's going to give him room. Will we see that cut across again on this 360 cam? Brilliant views we are seeing again. He's not going to be able to get the cut back. No, he's not. He's going to hold it onto the outside. Duckworth still up the inside, though, into turn number 3.
Yeah, good racing between these guys, and we've got a little bit of 2-wide racing ahead of him actually as well. There you see Adam Hanks currently running himself in the 8th position on the racetrack. There are, ladies and gentlemen, just 3 laps to go, and I tell you one thing, Zachary Troll is closing up in this battle for the race lead. There you see the gap between P1 and P2. It is only about 0.3 of a second right now on the racetrack. Zachary Troll that last time by a little bit slower, but with 2 laps to go, can he make a last-ditch manoeuvre? Has he saved enough with his tyres?
Yeah, only 3/10 separating them guys, but looking back into P3 battle though, Will, they're side by side as they come out of turn number 4. That's Ben Irwin up the inside of Andre Cozza. He's not going to be able to get that done. 2 laps to run now. This battle is all on for the podium spots in the last ever IRO5 race, and it's all hotting up as well for the final top 10s. Santos still looking all over the back of Ducksworth, but Victor Del Porto, this is the guy we're all going to be talking about winning the last ever IRO5 race, Will. Yeah. He's now coming on the exit of turn number 4. This will be the white flag, the last ever lap officially in the IRO5.
And here they come back down into turn number 1. You hear the white flags in hand. There is now just about 2/3 of a lap to go. Sakura Troll is close. It's about 2.5 tenths back, but it's not going to be close enough. Down into turn number 3 they come for the final time. Victor Del Porto still with a 3/10 of a second advantage. It's not going to be close enough as they work themselves out of corner number 4. Victor Del Porto is going to say goodbye to the IRL 05 by claiming victory here at Twin Ring Motegi, and what a way of doing it. Sakura Troll comes home in the 2nd place, Andre Cossa in 3rd, and then Ben Erdwin rounds out your 4th place drivers. All the cars finishing their run for your top 10 in just 1 moment's time, but this guy, Victor Del Porto, claiming victory, and he is going to be one very happy bunny. He has led every single lap of this event here today. Are we going to start seeing some donuts? I think we are.
What an incredible race. He makes his way now down to the start-finish line at such an incredible track. Also joined by...
donuts.
Oh, no donuts.
Okay, no donuts after all.
Oh.
We were waiting for them.
We were waiting for an exciting bit, but we saw the 3rd place guy come down. I thought he was about to do some donuts as well, but obviously not.
Oh, what a shame about that one. We apologise, no donuts. We can't control drivers doing donuts. Very quickly, before we go off air, I'm going to have a chat with one of the drivers who does race, of course, in the ISOWC IndyCar Series. That guy, he's Nigel Marneef, and we're saying goodbye. We've said goodbye now to the RL05. What sort of happy memories have you had?
First of all, hello.
Hello?
Well, I guess I crashed out at Barber, which wasn't amazing, to be fair. Plus I crashed on pit road at Texas, which wasn't amazing as well, to be fair, so...
So for you, it's been a case of crashing perhaps a couple too many times when you've not wanted to be crashing?
Well, I think I had pretty good races, to be honest. Apart from those... The thing is, the incidents I had were incredibly silly and incredibly embarrassing, so... But yeah, I always enjoyed the car. It's a bit of a tricky car to get hold on, really, especially on cold tires. But it's an enjoyable car, and I will actually miss it, to be honest.
And of course, we do now move over to the DW12. You looking forward to many new happy thoughts on that one?
I do. I think the biggest question will be how will this car perform on the 1.5 milers, to be honest. And based on the current aero package we have, I think the racing will be insane, in a good way, of course.
Nigel Marneef, who's been running in the ISOWC IndyCar Series, looking forward to running in the Road Series and the potentially the Oval Series as well in the DW12. Favourite car track, favourite track combinations you're looking forward to overall, Nigel?
Well, I think all the drivers have, whenever they see a schedule, they always mark certain tracks, and the ones I marked in particular were Barber, which I did well at, but unfortunately I had the incident. And the other one I marked is Infineon. I hope to do well there. I always enjoyed Infineon. I think it's a very nice, flowing and technical track.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Nigel. And how are we going to wrap this one up, Jake? Final thoughts?
Well, it's been a monumental time. It's had some good racing in it. You know, it's had the World Championship Series running it. It's had Indy 500s running it, contested over 500 miles. It's God knows how many laps of Indy it's turned, and Pocono and Auto Club. How many laps this car has turned is incredible. But we must say farewell to it. It's done us well, and it's quite a teary time, really, well, isn't it?
It is, and you're right. Of course, this car came out. It's run a total of 4 iRacing.com Indianapolis 500s. Victors for them, of course, have been Justin Dalsant, you've had Tim Dahl, you've had Young O, you've had Dennis Garis, and Brody Kostecki. Those guys winning Indy 500 in this IRL 05. Let's not forget as well, Gregor Hutu winning 15 of the 16 races in this car as well, in the first ever iRacing.com World Championship Series of road racing, as it was back then, because of course before we went to the Williams FW31. And you say as well, I mean, this series has been through so many transitions. Of course, originally it was a road series car running 4 ovals and 8 road courses, then it went to 6 and 6 with the same license and different license, and 12 and 12 we had it in the fixed series. If you've been here long enough, you're aware of just how much drama there has been in the IndyCar. Yeah, not all of it has been good drama. There has been some bad drama in it as well. But at the same time, we all love it. It has been a ride, and there will be many memories coming out of it as well. And of course, at the same time, it's worth thinking about what replaces this car, and it is the Dallara DW12. And you know, the DW12, it started off as life as being part of the opportunity to make IndyCar sexy again, the opportunity to make IndyCar cool again. But then there is a need to make IndyCar something different for very good reason as well. And the reason for that was, of course, we lost one of the greatest drivers to ever take on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that was Dan Wheldon. Back in 2011, the last race run in the IRLA 5, and it's worth remembering that as we say goodbye to you here today, that Dan Wheldon doing all of that work in the DW12 in the summer of 2011 made that car a safer car, a better car for IndyCar racing. And we're very thankful, I think anyone who's a true IndyCar fan, that Dan Wheldon's death didn't go in vain, because what we have now is quite possibly the greatest open wheel car in the world. Look at Formula 1, yes, they got the technology, but they haven't got the pure racing. You say the same about many other series. I don't think there's one car that can get running 235 miles an hour at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, yet at the same time get them running on road courses and street courses and still getting some of the best racing that we see in the world. So it's worth remembering that as we say goodbye to this car. So thank you very much to everyone who's watched us here today. We do say farewell. And again, we say, Dan, thanks very much for making the DW12 the car with your name, a car which we love so much. We'll talk to you later, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being a part of us here on RaceSpot TV. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.